comment. What's this?
I've set the t-shirt to dark mode, which
Oh,
means
wow.
it's time to go full throttle into the danger zone. No more granny shifting. We're gonna talk about a controversial topic. Fansly advertisements on Twitch. This is actually a war that I've been drafted into and tossed into the front lines, so I've been catching fire and getting called out, labeled a hypocrite, and morally flexible when it comes to things my friends do that I call others out for. So I kind of want to talk about this entire subject here because I feel that it's just a load of dirty barnacles to call me hypocritical when it comes to Fansly advertisements. So allow me to show you to your table and deliver your entree of drama that you've ordered. So, the situation in a nutshell. A couple weeks ago, there was the Streamer Awards that happened on Twitch.
I saw that. I was
unable to attend them in person, so I received permission from QT Cinderella to watch party them.
Yeah.
This was a massive event that QT Cinderella put together.
How he says QT, man. Oh my god. I don't know why. It just fucking...
One of the advertisers for it, one of the sponsors, was Fansly.
Yeah.
So during the stream, a Fansly advertisement popped up, and this was my reaction to it.
A free trial of some of our hottest creators. On top of that, sign in using your Twitch account and see which of your favorite streamers are already
Yeah, I saw that.
content on Fansly. Fansly has a whole algorithm dedicated
Thanks,
to
Risa Bridge.
discovering new content and creators through the Fansly For You feature.
Wow.
Swipe and discover today.
A very tame giggle as if someone came up and playfully tickled me for a moment.
Yeah.
And people were upset because I didn't start spitting and shitting, taking up
And shitting
arms
all over it,
about
yeah.
how disgusting it was that Fansly was being advertised on this broadcast here. Reason being is because prior I had made a video talking about a couple of things. One of them was Aiden Ross when he showed porn to his audience. My statement was that Aiden Ross went on Pornhub in front of his audience, which a lot of them are kids on the younger side of things. So I said that was weird. That was a weird thing to do. So when I giggled during the Fansly segment, it was used as a smoking gun to call out and attack me for being a hypocrite, because it's the same principle. Fansly was just shown on stream to an audience that undoubtedly...
Yeah, I think they're about the same, personally. I think that, you know, advertising a website that does porn isn't really that much different than advertising porn. Like, it's pretty much the same thing. Like, is it exactly the same thing? No. Is what Aiden Ross did
It isn't
a little
exactly
bit
the same,
worse?
but,
Yes. But
in the same vein.
they're both on the same spectrum, which is showing porn to people. That's what it comes down to. Aiden didn't advertise porn, he showed it. Yeah, well, it's just like, I mean, showing porn, directing people to porn, whatever it is. Whatever you want to call it.
Had kids watching. How is that
The
any...
advert doesn't show non-sexual content.
Get somewhere
Yeah.
safe. Eat real quick.
I mean, like...
I'll watch this for a little bit.
But like, what if you go to the website though? Like an advertisement, for example, like an advertisement for Cabela's, all right? If you go to the website, I'm pretty sure you can't find porn on that website. There's like no porn on the website. You go to an advertisement for, oh, I don't know, like a makeup thing. There's probably no porn on that. Like, Fansly is a porn site. That's what it is. It's great. But that's what it is. Come on. Advertising cigarettes versus smoking is a big difference. I don't, yeah, but like if somebody was advertising cigarettes to kids, I don't think people would be a big fan of that either. But I do think that overall, I mean, I don't think Aiden Ross is like special with like any of this because, like, yeah, kids watch Aiden Ross, but you have a viewership of like more than like a few hundred people. What are the odds that like somebody who's underage is going to be watching? I feel like it's like extremely high. The best that I think content creators can do is to just make it to where their platform, if they're going to show anything that could be NSFW, or like sexual, it's just make it to where you have to click a button to say that you're 18. Like, I feel like if you have to do that, that's the same thing that porn websites ask you to do. that's basically enough for me. Like, it's still kind of weird to try and show people porn on a stream. Like, I think it's weird just fundamentally.
Jamming is hella G Fuel.
Overall, I think that's really all you have to do.
Different than Aiden Ross going on Pornhub. Charlie is a fucking hypocrite. He called it out for Aiden Ross, but doesn't do it when it's his friend QT Cinderella.
Yeah.
When I first heard this argument, I thought it was just a bunch of fish paste. I thought it was being used satirically, because it didn't even compute that people were trying to compare these two things. Going on an actual legitimate Pornhub out of nowhere in front of your audience and just having porn, real porn being played, versus an advertisement, which does lead to porn, but the advertisement itself has more clothes on than a lot of things that are already freely broadcast on Twitch that are easily accessible.
Well, I wonder, like, because the thing is, to me, right, it's that if you had an advertisement for cigarettes, for example, like, would people like that? Would people think that's okay? Like, let's say you had an advertisement for, like, kids, like, to smoke cigarettes. I think this would be bad, especially if the advertisement was following like a Mario Kart commercial. And you have to keep in mind that, like, it's not like this was Google AdSense or whatever. This was planned programming. So, definitely what Aiden Ross, again, what he did was definitely worse, but I feel like advertising Fansly is kind of the same thing, and I don't even think it's a problem. By the way, I want to make sure one thing is very clear. I have no problem with people getting Fansly sponsors, okay? I think it's totally fucking fine. It's great. They pay you money, you advertise the stuff. That's it. I think it's totally fucking fine. But I do think that it is a gateway to porn. Call it what it is. And it's a direct gateway. It's not like a fucking anything else. It's a direct gateway.
I didn't think these two things deserved to be on the same playing field, but that's where I was wrong. I clearly failed the CAPTCHA here and was labeled a bot, because a lot of people do view these in the same category, in the same wheelhouse. A YouTuber named MewKitty made a whole video on it talking about Twitch streamers and their hypocrisy. A video that I make an appearance in towards the end. And it's exactly what I just talked about, where I said it was weird when Aiden Ross pulled up Pornhub, but I laughed when Fansly was a sponsor of the Streamer Awards. Yeah. And not long after her video, Scott Schaefer made content covering the same topic, where, once again, the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 superstar Charles White comes into the frame once again with another banger cameo. And the argument is the same. Charlie called it out when Aiden Ross pulled up real porn, but didn't call it out when QT Cinderella advertised porn. And he did it because she's his friend, thus he is a hypocrite. And on stream I talked about this last night, and I'll go ahead and get this out of the way right away. During that stream, and in the exact same video MewKitty has posted on one of her channels, I outright say both are bad. It's pretty clear from reading her comments, not like...
Yeah, so he thinks the same way that I do. Like, yeah, okay, there it is. Yeah, they're both bad. Like, there's a spectrum of them being bad, but they're both bad. I just don't think one of them matters.
Her personal comments, but like the audience comments, that the majority of the people didn't even watch the full statement, which isn't her fault, and I even don't blame the audience, because right now the human race is being plagued by brain rot, parasite, short-form content, which has ruined the attention span of people. So I don't...
Well, I think also people like feeling smarter than streamers. So the idea that streamers are hypocrites and you can see through them is very appealing. And if people get enough evidence to believe that, they're going to stop looking for more evidence that maybe they could be wrong. They're gonna stop right there, and they're okay. That's good. I'm happy. Now let's move on. And I always think this kind of stuff is silly, because personally, I feel like, yeah, sure, these things are different, but everybody acts different around their friends. I just, again, to me, I don't really, whenever somebody says that they believe in something or anything like that, I don't believe them. I'm like, yes, you will think this until it's beneficial not to. Like, I usually just assume that people will go back on whatever they think if it's beneficial to do so. And I think usually I'm right. But on the internet, this is like a very big point of contention, and a lot of people are like hyper fixated on this, and I find it to be very annoying. I do things that are hypocritical all the time. I'm not sorry. And really, it's not that for me it's hypocritical. It's that my, at the top of my pyramid of goals is self-benefit. And if something is beneficial for me, I'll do it, even if I said that you shouldn't do it, because it's better for me to do it than not do it. It's just that simple.
Get it?
Really? Yeah, that's really all there is to it.
I necessarily find it shocking that they didn't watch all 10 minutes of what I was saying. But in that clip, I outright say both can be bad, but they are not the same to me. Thus, I disagree that it's hypocritical that I made statements about Aiden Ross and the porn thing being really weird, and I didn't make the exact same statements for QT Cinderella's Fansly sponsor.
I think you can, if you want to get into the legal speak here, yeah, definitely it's not the exact same. Of course it isn't.
I'll go ahead and prove that it's there right now, real quick, before getting into why I think they're so different, but ultimately both are not a great thing to be advertising to an audience that is undoubtedly going to have children watching. Of course, advertising Fansly, OnlyFans, or anything in front of an audience that has younger children on it, it's always going to be not a great decision. It's one of those things, yeah. Now let's make like an egg and hard boil this subject.
So... And this is, I think, the problem with videos like this, like the Moo Kitty video and other ones that are similar to this, is that they intentionally ignore context in order to create a false narrative. It's the same thing that everybody accuses like CNN or Fox News of doing, but like these individual creators do the exact same thing, where they say something and then they're like, yeah, this is exactly like what it is, and like here's the story, and it just makes somebody look bad, and it's like, it is intentionally
unless you really feel that it's hypocritical.
It's disingenuous to the point to where you should have done better research and it makes people look bad. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I hate that stuff.
Quick. So, the difference between Aiden Ross pulling up Pornhub and QT Cinderella bringing up a Fansly sponsor is very clear right off rip. If all of you in the classroom right now have your thinking caps on, you'll notice a huge difference. I was able to play the entire Fansly ad as it aired because they are all clothed. You are not getting immediate nudity or pornographic content. It is an advertisement for pornographic content going to the website, yes, but unlike Aiden Ross's moments with real Pornhub just being there, actual fucking full-blown porn, you got pussy tip.
I kind of don't want to Google FCC guidelines for showing kids porn. Like, I don't really want that to be on my search history. But I wonder exactly what the rules would be, because in my mind, I don't think it's that big of a difference. Like, I don't know. I really am not sure, but I couldn't imagine if you went to, let's say, Toys R Us and you put up Fansly ads, could they sue you? I don't know. I couldn't see why not. I feel like that's advertising porn to kids. How's it not? Toys R Us is gone now. I guess, wherever else kids go nowadays. I don't know. So, like, I don't really know what the actual rules are. Did Aiden have 18 plus on his stream? He did. People who watched Aiden Ross's stream had to confirm that they were 18. And that same thing, like, that's the same gate that most porn websites have. And to be honest, a lot of porn websites don't have that. There's plenty of porn websites that don't have that gate. Streamer Awards 18 plus? No, they didn't.
It's everything all right there immediately. That is not what you got with the QT Cinderella Fansly sponsorship. Thus, immediately, those two are already different. Showing the porn to an unsuspecting audience out of fucking nowhere is a lot worse than advertising a service that has porn on it. And that's...
I think that unsuspecting would probably be the case with Fansly as well. I don't think that you could go into... Like, could you go into the Streamer Awards and assume that there would be ads for Fansly? I don't necessarily think that. I feel like if I was going to bet which stream would have porn on it more, I would say Aiden Ross's stream, especially on Kick. I'm pretty sure you can bet that's gonna have something bad. Like, just it's something bad right there. It was literally right after a Mario Kart ad. Yeah. No, and again, like, I don't have a problem. Like, I don't have a problem with them doing this at all. But, like, let's just, this is what it is, right? I mean, I don't know. That's what it is. Having porn ads suddenly pop up isn't exactly expected either. Yeah. Nice tits on Twitch as a gateway. Yeah, but like the difference with that is that like female streamers are explicitly forbidden to promote any sort of like adult content. So like if some girl gets done with her hot tub stream and she says, "Okay, make sure to follow my OnlyFans if you like what you see," she's gonna get banned. Like she'll get banned for that. And I understand that there is, again, another distinction. Oh, follow, look at my link tree, and the link tree has the OnlyFans in it. So it's like, how is that okay? I don't know. I mean, I feel like what are we doing here? Like, why are we playing this game? But it's like, can a streamer, like, so it's like, it opens up other questions, right? Where it's like, can a streamer advertise their Twitter? But if their Twitter has the OnlyFans on it, can they not advertise their Twitter? So like it doesn't have to do with Linktree. Do you see how like it's very hard to know exactly where to draw the line? I think it's very fair to draw the line at intentionally promoting porn directly on stream. Directly. Like on the screen. It's on the screen. You can see it on the screen. I think that's like, let's start there and then we'll move backwards. I think that's fair.
Something Scott Schaefer does touch on in his video. His is more of a deeper look at the subject, and YouKitty's is more memeing with it.
Yeah.
I always thought her content was supposed to be silly and over-the-top trolling, but she does seem genuinely upset at me, and I imagine it's...
I think that a lot of people, and this is the way that a lot of people that do commentary are, is like they probably hold these opinions, but they make them a joke to an extent. I think that's the way I've kind of like grown to experience it. I think that she probably believes it or doesn't like it, but I think also if it was an unpopular opinion, you probably wouldn't see that many videos about it either.
They get one shot.
Like a lot of commentary channels try to latch on to popular narratives and then kind of like farm them. Like obviously like Charlie does this, I do this, like everybody does this. But I think the problem is like whenever farming something becomes disingenuous.
Because of my statements, and I also did say I'm not the biggest fan of the way she edits her content. I called it Zoomer editing, which sounds...
I mean, like, I just think that she needs to fucking do the audio equalization. It's just, it's bad. Like, that's it. Like, the background music's as loud as she is. It's louder. You can't even hear what she's saying.
Mean-spirited when I really didn't mean it to be.
Yeah.
She edits her videos like very chaotic on purpose, where it's a lot of sound effects, like a fucking gong being hit pretty often, or like really loud blasting music pretty often, and that's just never been my cup of tea. But I never meant it as an insult on her honor. It's just not something that I'm personally a huge fan of, the same way that she doesn't like my content. I didn't mean it to be mean, and I apologize that it may have come across that way. I certainly didn't mean it to. But the whole point of me mentioning this right now is I do want to say that Scott Schaefer did also talk about the difference between playing porn versus advertising the Fansly. He did touch on that. Last night I made the comparison that the Fansly ad actually had more clothing on the people in it than what you would already find on Twitch right now in the hot tubs category, where it is bikinis and very, very revealing clothing. And that is a category that Twitch itself advertises. If you go to Twitch when you're not logged in, a lot of the recommended channels are hot tub streams, so Twitch itself does peddle content that is clearly sexually charged.
Oh, they absolutely do, and most of the girls that do the hot tub streams have OnlyFans, or Fansly, or sometimes both. That's what it is, and they do the hot tub streams or the ASMR streams, and they use the stream on Twitch as a gateway to getting people to subscribe to OnlyFans or to Fansly. Like, that's how it works. And again, like, those are the rules. Like, I mean, if Twitch doesn't like that, then that's up to them. Like, I'm just saying this is what the rules are, and that's how it works.
My point with this statement was to draw the immediate comparison that this Fansly advertisement wasn't immediately exposing young viewers to sexually explicit material, and it's even more easily accessible for them on Twitch already by just going to the category right next to the fucking Just Chatting one. That was the whole point of that. That's something XQC didn't quite understand, calling me wrong, saying that there's not a bleached butthole right away or something on hot tubs category, thus checkmate. Hits me with the scholar's mate.
Well, I think that we can all agree that, like, hot tub streams are not porn to the level that nudity and, like, actual porn is on OnlyFans. Like, they're obviously completely different.
More life, or strength.
Like, one is a girl in a bikini doing things that could be sexually suggestive. The other one is girls intentionally trying to be sexually suggestive and sometimes having sex. Like, I mean, that's fuck. That's completely fucking different. I think it is. Now, obviously, like, and definitely it's true that it's not immediate, and that's why I said that the Aiden Ross thing was worse. Is that Aiden Ross did it in an immediate sense, and the Fansly ad does it in an abstract sense. Like, you have to click on the link and then follow the link and then go to the website. So, like, it's a bit harder, but it's still a direct call to action to subscribe to porn on a stream. It's a direct call to action. It's not like it's a, oh, well, you know, like, follow my Twitter and then there's, like, porn on her Twitter or something like that. It's direct.
That wasn't my point. My point was the ad itself didn't contain any explicit imagery or anything high.
Sorry, I pause again. Aiden shows legitimate uncensored porn without consent. That's the difference. Well, the people did consent to it, though. They consented to it by clicking that they're over 18 and that they may be subjected to things that are adult in nature. So the consent argument doesn't work. And then also it doesn't work whenever you look at account users, people that are users of Twitch, because that users of Twitch also consent in different ways as well. And I think that users of Twitch do not consent explicitly to seeing sexual content. And especially not if they consent to being over 18. So I don't think the consent argument holds up at all, honestly. I really don't think so. I don't think it's even remotely close.
Sexual, at least nothing that was worse than what is already currently being advertised on Twitch in that category. And when you go to Fansly, there is still...
Well, to be fair, as I said, what is being advertised, which are these girls that are in hot tubs and bikinis, they cannot do a direct call to action. Go buy my porn. They cannot do that. If they do, they get banned. Now, this is a difference. It is a small difference. But it is a difference in the same way that the Fansly ad is a small difference from the Aiden Ross thing. I find them all on the same spectrum.
I have red in there. I'll put it there.
I do. I find them all on the same spectrum.
Not immediately ass and titties in your face right away. Thus, I didn't think by scanning the QR code, people would immediately just be fucking blasted with porn all over the place, like Charles Xavier jacking into Cerebro. So I viewed the advertisement very differently than a lot of people, because even when you scan the QR code, you still don't immediately get porn. There's already a lot of degrees of separation and a lot of obstacles to go through, as opposed to Aiden Ross, which just pulled up porn as a jump scare during fucking stream.
Yeah.
Right? It, to me, still is very different. I also was under the assumption...
I would also say that that's the exact thing that you could say for Stake, too. Like, you don't immediately start gambling on Stake, you have to make an account, and there's a bunch of barriers to entry with that as well. But people are still not okay with Stake.
That Fansly was only accessible to 18 plus after you verified your age. I don't use the platform. I thought you had to verify you were 18 plus in order to even get to the pornographic content. Thus, I thought it was even harder for children to have got porn out of that advertisement if they weren't of age. Not only would they have had to leave the platform to get it, they would then have to verify their age and make an account for it. I thought there was a lot of steps to it, making it very difficult for them. But according to some research now, it actually seems like Fansly is extremely easily accessible for anyone of any age. There's not a whole lot of security to it based on the things I've read, which is knowledge I didn't have last night. So, I made the comparison that the Fansly advertisement reminded me of all of the strip club billboards that are spaced around all of the major interstates.
Yeah.
Anytime I go up north to Pennsylvania, there is hundreds of strip clubs being advertised. And on those advertisements, there are women in bikinis and very, very revealing lingerie.
Yes.
And they tell you exactly where to go for the strip club. Well, when you're driving through, there's a good chance a lot of those cars are going to have kids in it and see those advertisements. So I compared Fansly to a strip club billboard because, in principle, if Fansly worked the way I thought it did, where you had to be 18 years or older to enter, it's kind of like a strip club advertisement because a kid could see that but still couldn't access the content because the strip club would obviously turn them away.
Yeah.
Ideally, assuming you're not going to some kind of fucking shady, corrupt strip club. And I thought Fansly was the same way. But apparently that's not the case, so that...
Well, there's always going to be ways to get through. I mean, like, it's the same as... Like, if you see some girl has an OnlyFans, like, you just Google it, and you're going to have some images and leaks. Like, that's just how it is. Like, girls go through a lot of links to get these things removed, but they get posted back up, too. So, like, if you start having a conversation about it, I think that it's very much a gateway for that exact thing.
That comparison doesn't work anymore, and I recognize that now. And I also made the comparison to the old GoDaddy commercials, which were highly sexualized content that was broadcast during, like, Super Bowl, during sporting events, where it was things like a girl with huge honkers.
Those were great.
You know, her straps, like breaking off. And, like, she's in a courtroom and, like, judges going, hobo, hobo, hobo. And then, like, she's trying to say something and the other strap's, like, wiggling. And then it's, like, right when it breaks off and about to reveal the giant milkers, it says go to GoDaddy.com to finish it. Yeah. And I wasn't really making a big point out of that. I just wanted to point out that, man, it really does feel like the early 2000s again with a lot of the internet arguments we get into these days. It's shit we've had for years. History really does kind of repeat itself. Because I do still think that's a pretty fair comparison. That's fundamentally like the same thing. The argument back then was, think of the children. They were watching this sport, and then all of a sudden, sexual content advertisement. So that's all I was really saying with that one. But yeah, in closing, I feel like there is no real good faith argument to be made that I'm hypocritical because I called Aiden Ross pulling up Pornhub weird and didn't immediately start calling out how weird it was for Fansly to be a sponsor of the Streamer Awards.
I mean, that's just
because,
he
like,
said
that was weird too, so, like, it's not hypocritical.
Like, a lot more
but
severe
it
than
not being hypocritical doesn't make losers on the internet feel smart, so nobody's going to be talking about that. That's just how these things go. Like, yeah, he said that weeks later. Well, so what? I mean, like, why does it even matter in the first place? Like, I don't really understand. I've always felt this to be weird, is that, like, people, like, hyper-fixate on content creators and, like, them making statements on things. Like, I don't really give a shit what people say or not. I mean, it's very weird. And I think also, like, I talk about this stuff a lot because I find it interesting. But there's a lot of things, like, I just don't really talk about a lot because I don't really give a shit about them. And, like, that's it.
True. You don't have to
people
have
have been hyper-fixated on what other people say and do. Yeah. I think that more or less the best way to address this stuff and the best way to handle it, this is what I always do, is I always do what's beneficial for me. And I think that if you just go off of that, nobody can accuse you of being hypocritical. Because the only time that they would accuse you of being hypocritical is if you do a charity stream. You know, like, that's it. It's like, what are you doing now? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, bro, like, who's this hypocrite? What the fuck?
That can still benefit you, though. Like, that's like
I feel like the two aren't really comparable. Blasting porn, real porn, immediately to your audience, out of nowhere, no warning, and right in their face, just on stream, is completely different than an advertisement to a platform which does have porn,
it's a lot more severe.
but a lot of things that they'd have to do in order to access it. Granted, I've now learned that it's easier than I thought it was. I still think the two are drastically different. So I still just don't think it's hypocritical. As I've said, neither one of them is great. I don't think either one of them is an amazing thing to do, but they are just not the same. And it's really fucking silly to pretend that they are. They are very different.
True.
And yeah, that's about it, really. Just wanted to talk about it. See ya.
I don't think they're very different, but I do think they are different. I think they're on the same spectrum. Absolutely. I think they're very close.
Like, look at the scope.
How big of a difference? It's like, because a lot of the arguments that were being made for why Fansly is different could be made for stake. They could be made for gambling on stake.
Well, we already did a lot of armor.
But that was bad.
They're doing strength.
Under the same logic. So why are we not applying the same logic to Fansly? No, I don't understand that. To me, I think people should get Fansly ads if Fansly pays them well. Because they've obviously, dude, people love porn. Like, they're making a lot of money. Just do that. Yeah, gambling doesn't equal porn. Like, if I was to make a tier list of things, gambling would be like several fucking totem poles higher than porn in terms of its damaging nature. Like, I think, like, gambling is, like, way, way, way worse than porn. Like, 10x worse, 20x worse. Personally, I think it's a lot worse. Some people ruin their life over porn, though. I'm sure they do. But I think that gambling is a lot more of a one-to-one. Porn, it's just fucks up your head a bit. And even for that, I think a lot of people watch, almost most people watch porn. And, you know, it's not ruining everybody, at least. I don't feel like it is.
There we go.
So, I feel like gambling is a lot more direct. But, yeah. And watch why Blue Protocol will fail,
true.
please.
Gambling's a lot
Lord
more like
Kira.
direct,
Where is the video?
downward,
What should I search? What's the name? What's the title of the video? And I'll watch it. But I don't know what the title of the video is. But yeah, I mean, having conversations like this, I think, again, it's, you know, it can be, like, annoying because people will constantly, like, try to, like, hyper-fixate on, like, oh, you need to be consistent on stuff or whatever. I wish more content creators had my perspective on things. I think that it would be a lot healthier. Phil, honest first impressions. Okay, well, let me just, I'm going to copy paste it.
It's also not the worst thing in the world to just say, yeah, sometimes I'm hypocritical.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to just write that stuff off if you don't give a shit. Still like Charlie? Yeah, I mean, obviously it's different. Like, what he's saying is, I think that Charlie absolutely is in the right to make a video like this, even if, like, I feel like it's not as different as he's leading on to. At least I don't think it is. Because the fundamentally, like, somebody made a video about him and misrepresented him and then made him look bad because of the misrepresentation. I think that sucks. That absolutely sucks. There's no, like, they didn't? Well, they did, though, right? Because, so showing a clip of him laughing and then not showing the context of him saying later on, well, like that it was weird, that's intentionally disingenuous. Like, you're not going to convince me that not including that is intentionally disingenuous. A week later? Yeah, I mean, you said it a week later, sure. I mean, the video wasn't made until, like, 2 weeks after that. You said after the video? I don't know. If that's the timeline, then yeah, it might be a bit different. But it depends on if you watched it, etc. If I hypocrites on Twitch and they're quick, well, just don't watch them. Like, I don't see like why I don't understand the mind of a person like that. It's just like it's got to be like a mental disorder or something like that.
18.
I don't understand because why would you even care about what people on Twitch are doing?
Boom.
What's wrong with you? It's like, who cares? There's a lot of things, like I didn't like what Bruce said, you know, like the fuck crackers thing and all that. Like I didn't like that. I thought that was ridiculous and weird. But I'm not gonna like go on a fucking rampage and like freak out about it, you know? Like I'm not like, it's just because that's his stream, right? Like I'm not like that's not my fucking problem. If I don't agree with that, I just don't watch his stream. It's the same thing with like a bunch of other people like doing other streams. Like I'm trying to think other stuff that people have done, like Kai getting a hand job. Like why the fuck would I care about Kai getting a hand job? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Like if I don't like it, I just don't watch it. Yeah, Bruce popped off, so weird. I like Bruce. I mean, it's just that it's disappointing to see somebody, and I know how it happens, right? Is that like he says something offhandedly, people get mad about it, he doubles down, and things just escalate from there. Charlie and Hassan cared about Aiden stream porn. I mean, I think it's because of like how direct and like abrupt it was. It just seemed out of nowhere. Bruce feels like he's allowed to be a racist, but like the thing is, to me, is like it doesn't matter to me like whether Bruce feels like he's allowed to be racist or not. Like it just doesn't. Like yeah, I don't think that you should be able to be racist on the stream. Like I think so, but like this is not like really a big deal. And there's a lot of things like little things that I don't like that streamers do. Like for example,
okay, so I
think there's some streamers that like overemphasize like a sense of like family and community, and I find it to be like emotionally manipulative, and it gets like a few select people to like wail out and give them a bunch of subs. Like I find that to be like really weird, and I don't like it. But I don't go around like shitting on people and trying to find people that are doing this and like get mad at them, because it's just, this is not my problem, right? It's just not my problem. I don't really care, and I stopped watching. He was talking about hypocrisy earlier in his stream. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I'm just saying in general. Big double standard that allows more people to think they can be racist. Yeah, but like you're not going to change somebody's opinion. Like I think that a lot of people on the internet don't realize the fact that like they're only like they're like words on a screen and it's gone in like a fraction of a second sometimes. Like why are you trying to focus on this and like get mad about it and like fucking like prove a point and, you know, like get your perspective out there? Like what are you doing? Like what are you doing with your life? Like nobody's going to change their mind because of this. Nobody's going to, you know, look at the world differently because of this. Like you're just wasting your time.
Ooh. There's a fish right now. Increased rarity of items found. That'd probably be better to have for now, anyways. The armor difference isn't that big. Drop that. Drop that. I think I need one more loot lift still. And we gotta clear this place. Oh, I leveled up. Want to keep doing more strength? Or do that. Increase melee physical damage? Let's do this one, I think. Okay. Oh, definitely can't use that though, it only has one green socket. Wonder if you could add sockets later. That'd be cool. Loom tongue to lurching. Extra fire damage, exposure, extra cold damage. Chest with nothing in it. Kill the necromancer in his menu. Ooh, that's stunning him. No. Die, minions. Oh shit, let's come back to life. God damn you. Stop it. Like the annoying shaman things from Pablo. Stop it. No. Back. Out of health. No. Not a potion. Oh, no. God damn it. Alright. Well, I think I just need to focus on him more and just like ignore them, because you'll just keep bringing them back. Damn. Okay, there's another level. More melee damage. Or maybe a little more armor. Make a little beefier. Oh shit, for real? Okay. One sec. I'll move it. One. Like right there. That good? Now where's that necromancer guy at? Thank you. I think I had it up there before because on YouTube, when you try to make YouTube shorts, if you don't have like enough subscribers, they don't let you do like real shorts, and so like the camera that you're able to capture is like limited. So that's the only way I was able to have like my like face in the thing with the game at the same time. Really weird. True. Let me try to kill that real quick. Die. Come on. Die. There we go. Don't run from me. I think a little bit smaller would be better. Hey, are you coming up to me? I gotta kill you real quick. Alright. Let's do a little bit less. Yeah. I don't know about that thing. Can I reduce that thing too? Alright. That better? I don't have a second monitor, so like I'm using my phone as like a second monitor to look at like the stream. That's kind of hard to determine like how much it's visible or covering. Ooh. It only has like one blue thingy. I don't even want these. You need like a bunch of fucking red sockets apparently. That's like what all the cool stuff is. Oh, I still gotta kill all the monsters. Okay. Thank you. Ooh, press a hatchet. It has 2 red things. Do I have another available red slot? Oh, that has 2. So that's a lot better. So let's equip that. Let's pick up the gems. Put one there. Put one there. Take the other one. Put it in. Eat. Yay. This one's really interesting, coming from just doing like mostly like Diablo, and I did a little bit of Lost Ark. And like that skill tree is like ridiculous. I'd kind of heard about that before, about how ridiculous, but I didn't really believe it till I saw it. It's like whole different thing. Are there still things here? Kill all the monsters in the fed pool. Yeah. Where are you? Hello. Hey, we're in 6 in chat. We broke the 5 in chat threshold that I've been trying to do. Yay. Nothing in chest. I found like 5 chests that had nothing. What part haven't I been by? Did I just like leave someone and run away from him or something? It's super annoying. Come fight me. I'm glad they finally added Kick to a restream, because like before I could have only done YouTube and then like Twitch, and then if I wanted to do Kick, it wasn't one of the like officially supported ones, so like you have to have like the expensive plan to do it. But they recently like added it as like an officially supported one, so I mean I think that's pretty good sign of how the platform's going. Come on, where are you? Aha! Now you died. Oh, I didn't kill this guy. Damn it. I thought the other guy was him. Damn it. Here, come here. I'm like missing. There we go. Anything worth taking? I don't think so. Kill all the monsters. What's left? Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to Lion's Watch real quick. Here, I'm going to turn this in, and then I'll see if there's something else that I want to watch while we're doing this. I'll be right back. Found a new video. We're gonna watch
I'll
Max
keep
doing
it a
some
buck.
drunken rage
Yeah,
eating.
if the group wipes, you got to take a
be
shot.
pretty
If you
good.
die, you got to take a shot. Those go taken out. Don't bring that shit into us. We don't need to soak that.
Yeah, we do.
I think
Yeah,
I need to
you
do
suck
something
that.
else there, so I think I need to go back.
Yep, more shots. Y'all gonna get drunk. Go back,
I'm
back.
going back. I'm going back. There's
And
not a
through the
drop
submerged
left in
passage
this
in the
one.
mud flash. from
It's
Mud
been
Flash,
gone.
So yeah, I gotta go back to mud flash.
Talking in the third.
That's gonna be a banger video. Drunk Raid Night Guild Alt Run. Oh my god, get me in there. Wait, but which bosses? It's a quick clear. No, it's the whole raid. Wait, but that sounds so fun though. Let's get it. Alright, I got invited. Oh, this is gonna be a fucking blast. Guys, I need the most discipline from you guys.
Wow, where are you at?
I do not want you all joining this group to help. I want to see them in their natural habitat. Discipline. Discipline. I know you want to show up on stream doing big damage. This is the time for discipline.
Oh, yo, homie.
So I thought the whole drinking on
Let the
Twitch
wife,
was like a big like
introduce you to
QS
our
thing
music
lately, like
bot
with that
and
one
let her
streamer.
explain to
We're
you
do-
what
we're
to
drinking
do,
everything.
and you guys go fill that motherfucker up and let's get some tunes going.
We got a Honig,
Go ahead.
Honig
Tell 'em that
Cabernet from Napa.
Discord.
Let's get it poppin'. You love Honig, and I've not heard anyone
Huh?
else know about it. Bro, we're a member of the Honig wine
But a
club.
drunken alt
We're,
raid
we're a
runs
member
are
of two
pretty
wine
fun.
clubs in Napa.
To go into where everybody is in our chat channel, you're gonna right click on the bot, and then you're gonna bring the Fred button. You're gonna bring it down, usually about anywhere from 5 to 9%. Should do you good.
I had it at 100%. I had it at 100, and they just turned it on, and they said turn it down to 5
Yeah.
after they
Play
started.
whatever the fuck you want.
Dude, I'm trying to turn that music on. How do I turn the music on? Pick your shit. You can right click it and press mute.
Yeah, you can mute it.
Okay, so I got a couple hitters in the queue. Tell me what you want to do real quick.
Dude,
it's so
funny.
I
Bro, it's so funny that they turned on this music bot at f***ing massive volume before warning people to turn it to 5. They did that after they turned it on. It was so loud. This guy doesn't know how to mute it or turn it down, so he's just been panic trying to fix it. For
Might
like 30
know,
minutes.
but he's
All right,
incapable
tanks.
currently.
So there's a lot in queue that we don't need because we already have it, or they have no experience. So just be wary. I'm gonna step away for a couple of minutes. At 8:45,
Nice.
we're getting on dragons and riding out with
Increase
what we
armor.
got. So everybody's got like
Oh, yeah,
5,
This is gonna
10,
be-
15
this is
minutes
gonna
to
be
get up
f***ing
and
incredible.
make sure these people have got heroic.
Cotton bottles.
Yeah,
Just
play
going
whatever
back to
kind
the
of
mud
music you
flash,
want to
right? I
play.
just need to find the submerged passage.
You should have
Or
put that
find
through
another one of those
Discord.
clips and do the other.
Wait,
Iron
wait,
Ring.
wait, that,
Any
wait.
nether
Okay,
ring.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. One second.
They do anything. Add one for physical damage. For physical damage, and I think I have room for an amulet.
There you go.
Assuming.
And
It's not recording.
creators.
It's not recording. Is it?
Reforge is the color of socket of on an item.
Promise.
Ooh. I could take like a socket I don't need.
What if
and
I wanted-
hopefully get another good one.
Pay for this shit. I don't know
But
what
it
we're
says it
talking about.
rolls, so I can't like pick.
Sounds good. I'm gonna call out. I'll do call outs.
Okay,
as
I
I
wonder.
come drunk,
Could I?
so you'll
Could I
get
just
what
make that one
what I
3
deliver.
red? Could I do that?
I know the whole fucking raid from tank to melee to range, but I'm only gonna say half of shit.
Oh, it's not. It has to
Y'all
be
should know
unequipped.
these fights.
I'll mess that later.
Just a few more
He knows it
minutes
all,
and,
man.
Get back to the computer and do a raid check.
This is gonna be a banger, man. He's gonna get back to the computer. He's not even at his computer. He's walking
So,
around
hey,
his
bro,
house
you know how I
just
told you I got
talking
a
to
40,
Discord unmuted.
4K screen, right? And then I had the smaller 28 turned sideways. Bought mom a brand new TV from Best Buy, so I took the TV that she had because it wasn't a smart TV. It's basically just a fucking screen, in my opinion. And it's like a, fuck, I think it's a 40-inch too, bro. Well, anyway, I got two 40 inches going now.
Nice.
I'd like to figure out how to mount this bitch up above the one that I play on, where I can mount it and then have it and then tilt it a little bit. So all I'd have to do is look up a little bit at it. That'd be fucking dope.
Dope.
This is so
funny. He's just. Dude, when he said he was gonna mount that bitch on the wall.
Oh, I have to find more glyphic.
I gotta fucking compose myself. This guy's so funny. He's just the funniest thing. You just gotta think of the whole picture. He's been talking for like 20 minutes, and then we just found out a minute ago that he's not even at his desk. He's just walking around his house with a wireless headset, just
7 out of
unmuted, and
8,
just
I
fucking
think.
ripping, just talking.
Nice.
He's just walking around his
I know, right? Holy shit.
Yeah, if the group wipes, you gotta take a shot. If you die, you gotta take a shot. If you're a smoker, like myself, if you die, you gotta take a hit.
Oh,
if you,
shit.
If you wipe, you gotta take a hit. Okay?
And for anybody that doesn't know this,
What is he
you can
fucking
only do
talking
this so many times, I think. But you can change the direction of your dragon by right-clicking on a different NPC, and it'll go towards it once it makes it to the end of where it's going.
We're off the dragon. Wait, also, is that real? Does this guy know hidden
Look at all
tech?
the
You can
hunters.
change
Oh,
the
is
direction
that
of the
real?
dragons? Is that
Yeah,
true?
if you're a hunter, when you do that,
can?
fucking turn around and engage.
What?
Next time for this ad phase, let's drop that shit closer to the tanks. Yeah, just drop it right behind. Right behind.
I'm doing what he tells me.
Make the group in the
Yeah.
tank move. That's what you want to do.
Actually true. Wait, does this guy fucking know what he's doing? Is this guy like the most interesting guy to ever exist?
And then if you don't want the ads to hit you, you just simply move in front of the tank and let the tank get aggro off of him.
What the fuck is going on? How does he
Drop
have
that
so much
frontal.
riz and he knows what he's talking about? Okay, chat, real talk, show of hands, okay? Show of hands. Well, not hands, but votes. Type 1 if you have taken a bubble bath, also known as a bubby bee, in the last 3 months. And 2 if you haven't. Dude, Shroud is making me so mad, man. There's becoming increasingly more evidence that he actually does take bubble baths every day, but he's still making me fucking. I've taken a bubby bee in the last 3 months. That's just because Shroud said he takes bubby bees every day, and then I told him I would take a bubby bee to test it out. No one in this group is talking. Let me ask him.
I don't want to do the same.
Let me change my pitch a little bit.
Oh my god, I sound so manly. You guys ever take a bubble bath?
I haven't for like 7 years, I think.
Been a while since I've had
It's been a
bubbles
while.
in my
I mean,
bath.
Probably the last time I took a bath.
Yeah, I'm not a big bath bro.
Can someone tell me what William just told me?
That's impressive.
You need a
Raise them up some
summon
more? No,
zine,
chat, it'll give it away.
one.
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
yeah.
every now and then I'm just gonna check in.
Again, I'll call out as we go. I don't want to not get through this. So, hunters, demon hunters,
Yep. Do more armor, like
whoever the fuck else has got
Regen.
interrupts,
Regen would be
kicks,
Everybody,
finger up their ass,
whoever the
whatever
fuck
you
else.
can do to stop them. Cade and Darthia have interrupts. I will be on Cade the whole time. I'm not going to take my target off of Cade. I need somebody to make sure that they're going to stay on Darthia. Don't take your target off of Darthia if you're going to try to get the interrupts. Any interrupts or any kick you got will fall in line with it being on the cooldown of her mechanic.
I think I missed one of those orb things I need.
This is gonna be fun.
If you want to just be balls to the wall, just fucking let your dot fall off. Fuck it.
Balls to the wall,
You don't
baby.
even need to make a good drop if you don't want to. It's heroic.
Fuck it.
We got enough healers. They can heal us through this
Yes,
fucking
sir.
age shit.
Yes, sir. This is bad. This is bad. It's getting out of control fast. Oh no!
Maybe not. What was I standing in? Let's bring back Fox.
I think we fucked up.
I
Garrett
think we
might
fucked
be
up.
sure.
Maybe.
Well,
Possibly.
no, it wasn't to
Oh,
ignore the
called out?
pillars.
No, the
AIDS.
There, all the AIDS is almost gone.
Aha! And the other
Everyone's
one's.
taking a fucking shot.
Let's
oh
go.
shit, I
Let's,
gotta get a bowl ready.
let's get lit.
You motherfuckers that are dead, get your
Yes,
shots
sir.
and bowls ready. Because when you die and the team wipes, you gotta take 2. I didn't tell you that.
I'm still alive.
I feel like this group's gonna go downhill like super quick.
Alright, it's a wipe now.
You did
All right,
good.
I don't know if this is a shot,
Get
but
rid of the AIDS.
all right. What do you all think
Hey, before
of
we
my
can
Mog?
pull,
It disgusts me. That Mog is absolute
So what does
dog
Mog
shit. Like 2 out of 10. Wait, I got turned into a fucking slime. Wait, I can't use anything. Wait, how do I can't press any buttons.
Drop
Help!
your-
I can't do anything. Help! Oh,
There we
I fixed
go.
it.
Open,
I still can't press anything.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Suavemente, bésame, que quiero sentir tus labios besando.
take your dots back there, guys. Don't bring him up to where the group is. It's as shit.
Jesus Christ.
There's like fucking 18 killers here. Pick one back there.
Jesus Christ.
No, I want the close.
What the fuck?
Where the group is?
Yeah, there's like, this is mine.
We did make progress. Okay, let me try to give some advice here in chat. I don't know what I'm gonna get met with.
Guess that should wipe.
But here, I'm gonna rip this. In
That
the
one, pop it
groups,
off there.
I've seen
Alright,
clear this.
I'll do great call out.
They usually try to run out with the
Okay, so from
buff
here on
in
out.
melee. I think it's a skill issue there, Riz. People need to be better IMO.
Skill issue.
Okay, you're right. We got this.
I see a lot of tanks get themselves caught up in a tight spot
Yeah.
with this fight. So
What does that mean? That's
when
not
you-
true.
Once you get everybody pulled,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
What do you mean?
Like try to, maybe be about right here on the whole area, no matter where you're at on the map, but like by this ring, and just kite that sumbitch. Kite him. Kite him. Kite him.
Why? Don't
Just keep
kite
kiting
him.
him. Like,
That
we
makes
don't
no
need
sense.
to stay on top of everything.
That makes
People
no
have
sense.
abilities.
Do not kite that
potions,
sumbitch.
And
No.
a running
No,
key
no,
to
chat, stop
run
saying let him
to
cook. Do
whatever
not let him
they
cook.
need to
He's
run to.
this is
Like, we don't
bad.
need to,
He is cooked.
Do not kite him.
have
Are you questioning your raid leader?
Alright, I put a
Yes.
diamond on my
What you
hand,
just said,
so-
you don't need to kite these bosses ever.
Okay, wipe it up. Retry. Restart.
More shots.
Yep, more shots. Y'all gotta get drunk on this motherfucker here.
Yes,
Got
sir.
mine last.
I need a healer so bad. 1 second. I need the biggest heal that's ever existed. Can you list group? I think there is a huge healer that will sign up.
Yeah, you want a 6 heal 30 minutes.
Yeah, we lost it.
Possibly 7 heals. We don't need 7 healers.
God damn, look at the queue just filled up that fucking fast. Holy shit. We're already filled up.
Thanks, chat. Oh, fuck.
Should change our timeline to 3:30.
Oh, I wasn't unmuted. I thought I was unmuted.
Could someone queue up a song?
It doesn't show.
Shit, a lot of you motherfuckers are from the dirty south. Let me hear some of that dirty south.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of you motherfuckers are from down south, the Houston area. I know. What's up?
Is that guy using a voice changer?
Who, me? No, my Discord's been fucking acting weird.
Alright, we gotta stop talking for a while, chat. Someone's onto us.
Alright, on tanks. Let's fuck.
Hell yeah.
I did not see that coming. This guy is good. Oh, he didn't.
You ready for pull in? You people with circles around your buttholes, move out. Away from people trying to run away from this crazy shit.
Watch your buttholes, chat.
No,
Watch
I don't
them.
want in there.
It's always the buttholes, man. You never expect it. Yo,
They
Fox
got
Son,
all
are we
prisoners.
killing these ads or not?
Yeah,
This one,
yeah.
We're killing them? Alright.
Yes. Let's get over there, guys. I need some
On this way,
DPS to
isn't it?
come with me. I need a tank to come with me, and I need at least 2 healers. That'd be cool.
One platform, Chad, but you gotta have it at like 30.
So you think we should do the next platform too?
Yes. Who cares if we kill the boss when they go over there? Let's just do it. That way we can make sure that we get the kill.
Amen to that.
Yeah, anybody that didn't go over there with that ad and that platform, get your ass on Skull and go with that group.
Yes, sir.
Well, just keep this fucking ad by the boss, and I'll make sure I interrupt it.
Yeah.
So we don't take DPS off the boss. Okay, I got his interrupts just now.
Okay. Oh yeah, just stay boss here. Should be good. Keep kicking.
God damn, this bitch needs to stop.
Wait, so is that a shot or not? Like, we killed it, but like, I don't know. We died.
I'm taking a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, if you died, you take a shot. If you feel like shit because of that fight, then you deserve to take a shot.
We're all taking a shot then. Okay.
All right, stop right here. Well, okay, let's get these two guys, and then we're gonna do break.
We're doing a break. We're doing a break after.
Don't kick the fire blast.
This
let
is
it
hidden.
choose
This
who
is hidden
dies.
technology. You guys think I'm exposed? Dude, there are definitely like 3 or 4 people in this Discord that watch my stream. I am very sure that the raid leader has no fucking clue who I am, and if he was told, he wouldn't give a fuck, rightfully so. And he's just in here vibing, getting drunk, and raiding, man. That's why this group owns. Chat, that's the most drunk raid shit ever. These people started this raid an hour ago, and we've taken a 10-minute break. I mean, it's a smoke break, right? Like, this is for sure a smoke break. Which, by the way, having smoke breaks in raids are insanely iconic. The goddamn blunt break. Foxon, what are you doing during your break? What's your break look like?
I'm gonna be going outside, letting my dog out, smoking a cigarette.
What kind of dog?
Got a Siberian Husky.
Hell yeah, so do I.
Bi-colored eyes. Makes you even more red.
They're blue.
What's the name?
Diane.
That's a pretty rare name.
Why is he talking about how rare his dog is?
Hell yeah.
Why is he flexing his
Wait a
dog?
minute, I'm lying.
I'm gonna have to go let my
He
kangaroos
randomly
out,
flexed
actually.
his dog.
I have to go let my kangaroos out.
He found us actually. I used to live in another town, and one day she was chasing my daughter. Apparently, she came around the corner and was like, "Hey, Dad, there's a wolf chasing me." I'm like, "What? No, there's not." So sure enough, there was this husky.
And next we could get that.
I got
some more regen, some
I got some
threshold, and
baloney
20
and
strings. That'll be a good one.
lured her in. So I lured her in with baloney and went and had her scanned. She didn't have no chip or nothing. Waited a little while. Nobody came after her, so I fucking had her chipped, and she's been mine for the past almost 3 years now. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know how far she ran. I did do research, and
Dude, I fucking love that guy.
research in a day on a husky that can do up to 60 miles in a day. So who knows how far she ran.
Okay, so chat, did he steal this dog? Almost 100%. He almost certainly stole it, but he's very cool. Yeah, I'm sorry to distract you, man. You probably got to smoke, right? We only got 5 minutes left in the trade.
I am smoking.
He's wireless.
Wait, are you outside wireless right now?
Yeah, he was just talking to his dog.
Can we hear a puff?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Dude, the funniest thing about this guy is that he just leaves his computer with a wireless headset, and he just fucking talks the whole time. How far have you cleared in heroic so far?
I've done all
You're
the
raid
way,
leader when
I've
he
done
doesn't
all the
have
way to
computer.
the last boss. If I could just get a group that's as good as me, I could get through
Just
the last
get a group
boss.
as
'Cause
good as
I
me,
don't
you
die
know?
on it. The only time I die on Raz is when I have to wipe.
That's pretty based, man.
That is based. Yeah. Are you how long are you guys raiding tonight?
Until the tanks fall out.
So you're down to go all night.
Yeah, I got shit to do tomorrow. And we did Mythic last night, cause like I've been like this since I've got the gear. Heroic ain't shit. And I've been telling my wife, I'm like, man, I can't wait to go into Mythic. I hope Mythic is fucking harder. I get into Mythic last night, and the first 2 bosses was a fucking cakewalk. I hope the rest of the raid it gets harder, because this shit's easy to me right now.
Guys, wait for Dathia. We're progging that boss right now on my main.
Remind me what Dathia is? Is that the egg boss?
It's the one that we just killed.
It's
Yeah.
Darthia.
Darthia, there you go.
Dude, I fucking
Yeah, Darthia.
Chat, I'll tell you right now. At the end of this raid, no matter what, I will make sure that this fucking guy kills heroic Razaget today. It will happen. It will happen. I will make sure. God fucking damn it! I will make sure this guy kills that boss.
You'll get some music going. No, you don't need a weak ore. I don't believe in weak ores. You don't need a weak ore for this. I don't believe in weak ores at all.
Amen to that, dude. Amen to that.
I've never used them, bro. I had a guild try to talk me into it during the first, my first step into SOD, I downloaded the add-on. I tried fucking with it. It looked like a bunch of Chinese shit I didn't want to get involved in. So
Oh shit.
it just looked like too much to do. I
Took
just
one look at it and
use,
said, "Fuck that."
DBM, get the fuck out, add-on, and keeps me good.
You fucking shot it with some Chinese shit he didn't want to get involved with. Oh. Woo!
Just gotta
Let's
know the
fucking
fight.
go.
You could do this raid without any add-ons if you just know the fight.
I'm feeling good about this. You guys think we can one-shot this?
I think we can
all
one-shot.
day.
Let's fucking go.
Stay stacked on skull. Get ready to go back. Okay, go back,
Back.
and back up.
Back up again.
Watch out for funnel. Stay stacked for hills, and get ready for transition.
Let's go.
To the left.
We're scooting to the left here.
And stay very close to the edge of this nasty shithole we just left. Stay stacked up on skull. Bring that into skull. Few circles on each side. Everybody else get ready to move to the left. Move to the left. Stack for hills. Watch out for funnel.
Fucking way. Let him cook, Chad. Let him cook.
And
Let him cook.
get ready to go back. Go back,
I'm going
back.
I'm going back.
And back up.
Back up again.
Watch out for funnel.
Fucking go back
Stack
again.
for hills.
Let's go.
Everybody follow skull.
Okay, yep, skull. He's going
Oh,
over.
that's too far. Got jokes. There's circle. Put a few circles on each side.
Okay.
Everybody else get ready to move to the left. Stack for hills.
Stack for hills. Let's go.
Watch out for funnel.
Let's go.
Everybody scoot to the right.
Yep, scoot it up.
And get ready to go catty cornered back to the left.
What the fuck does that mean? I'm gonna follow him.
What the
Caddy
fuck?
Go
corner.
back.
Okay.
And back up.
Oh, back up again. All right.
Watch out for funnel.
I'm actually learning new
Stack on
techniques
skull
now.
for hills.
Go left. Let's
Move
go.
to the left. Good. Stack for hills. There we go.
Yo, good calls, bro. I felt so confident the whole time. Have you been doing this for a while?
I've tanked this. I've DPS'd on melee and range.
No, I just mean
Most
like.
of this whole raid.
I mean like making calls in the raid and stuff.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a couple of months. Nice neck. That would be cool. Somebody needs it. A helix. Yeah, if you ain't smoked out of a helix, homies, get you a helix, because you're missing out.
I wonder what boss will give them trouble.
through
You
the
guys think it'll be
false
like
path.
Kurog? I feel like Kurog is
Yeah.
just such a fight where like if you don't have a tank that knows the positioning, it's just fucked. Dude,
Or
chat,
with
I'm
chance.
so under the radar. They're going off about in chat Saxaman the goat right now. Yo, who was asking me about the wine earlier?
I think I was.
What are you drinking?
Upgrades normal item to rare. That's
Wine.
cool.
Yeah,
Upgrades
like,
normal item to random rarity.
like what?
Cabernet.
Oh, you're drinking Cabernet too?
Totem that can consume nearby corpses.
Yeah, we like to
That's
go wine
interesting.
tasting sometimes.
Placement item
But
slot of the
one
right
thing to really
color.
look out for with a Cabernet is crystals.
Wait, is that
what?
The crystals in a Cabernet.
red? Okay.
You can kind of swirl it around your
Uh-huh.
glass, and you
Sure,
can see
let's
them
put
in
that
there.
I guess.
You can see it stick to the edge of your glass. If you've got a really good Cabernet, it'll have that in there.
Oh, nice. That's like some more health regen.
Those usually
That's
come
cool.
from like France and Italy. Some of them from South America. But yeah, those are your good Cabernets. So if you get any red wines that have got the crystals, and you'll notice what I'm talking about once you see
yeah,
it.
I have one. I don't think I have any crystals in it. I think my shit sucks. Fuck me.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna start
Is
over
he talking
here.
about meth? Yo, wait, 1 second.
All right.
Fox, you're there, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you look at my mog real quick? I'll come
Stand
to you.
right-
I'm right in front of you. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
You like it?
It's wild.
I'm going for like an abstract.
Definitely is. All right, on tanks. Those go taken out. Don't bring that shit into us. We don't need to soak that.
That's cool.
Yeah, we do. We do need to soak that.
We can
Oh,
do that
we
one
do
now.
need to soak those? I thought we did
Yeah,
More
need
health
to.
regen, 20%
This
increase
is
on
on Frost
threshold,
right now.
20
We
to
definitely
strength.
need to soak those.
So Frost is
Yeah.
the one you want to soak. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
note
yeah.
that in my mind. I always get them some bitches confused.
Me too, man. Me too. Me too.
Yep, let's let it fall off the ground. All right,
All
back
right.
in.
I can feel the alcohol hitting me. I have no idea what I just did. Chad, that was fucking rough. I had that debuff the whole time, and I painted the whole goddamn raid. Guys, I'm feeling it. I didn't feel it until right now, but now I'm feeling it. So, just letting you know, keeping you updated. Oh, I got a fucking spark. Good thing I can't use it on anything, and it doesn't matter.
If you get hit by one of
It
these
played, it
motherfuckers
played,
on the
okay.
stair, you gotta take a shot. gotta take a hit.
Wait,
so don't get hit. I'ma check raid logs.
Of the fire?
Of the fire.
Okay.
Oh shit, Fox is gonna do one. Fox is gonna do two.
Aren't you Fox?
Yeah.
Fox?
In the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm turning up this bot. How much am I deep?
We'll see how it goes. If you guys need help.
Right there.
Yeah.
I'm
but
almost
we'll
a
just run it
bottle
like
deep.
that. Are we all here? No, still a couple not here.
Did someone put
Lear,
when
why
I
are you not
shit
here?
my dick touched the water on the fucking?
Oh, okay.
My dick touched the water. Dude, chat. Honestly, when you guys shit, does your dick touch the water? Let's be real for a second. That's a little ridiculous. You've got to have a goddamn fucking foot long for that to be true. Like if your dick permanently touches
Perfect.
the water when you shit, that's insane.
Press your buttons harder. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's a wipe. All right, cool. Let's just reset, redo.
Fox, you're good for us to pull, right?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, let's go.
Bus pass, let's go.
Dude. Holy fuck. Yo, Fox, can you be honest with me for a second? Did you just rip one before we called that?
Yes.
Honest man. Oh, he pulled on
We're good, we're
fire
good,
alive.
we're good, we're good. We're good. I just rolled during my opener. What the fuck is wrong with me, man? Help! Actually, we'll do a third one just because why not? We already did a third one, I think.
Sounds like the alcohol talking.
From me? Oh,
Now
we
we go middle,
we
right?
just want to get the squares. Oh, that was my fault. Oh, someone got it. Chat, I am feeling it. I am not here right now. Come on, boys.
We got this.
We got this shit. Keep blasting. Dude, we're killing this to Nickelback. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's
Nickelback
fucking
for
go.
head.
Nickelback gang.
Let's fucking go.
Yes.
Brief torch.
Whoa.
Ordered with the torch.
Grab on the torch.
I call
Yeah,
it
yeah.
Congrats everyone who gets the brief torch.
All right, so let me fucking turn this music down. Goddamn bot.
Wait, you're turning down Nickelback?
No. Well, so I've got it blast so I can talk.
Yeah.
So I'm not like yelling because I feel like I'm gonna yell. So before we get started on Raz, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Let everybody's wrists and fingers and shit cool down, and then we're gonna fucking take this bitch down.
Let's kill a bird.
Let's do it.
Let them
Bang
goddamn
and then
fingers
take a
go
break.
off.
Hey, and
Straight up
don't
to my banger.
don't fuck off and do some weird hunter shit and auto target that some bitch. So we're all standing here like right on top of it. Please.
Yo, chat.
Oh shit.
I am
There's too
fucking
much.
feeling it. I'll keep it a buck. This whole thing is gone. There's not a drop left in this motherfucker. It's been gone. I think on like 3 of those polls I was just marking the wrong egg. I think I was just marking the complete wrong egg. But that's okay.
Rizzy, you got my back.
What's up?
Have my back on this fight with call-outs if I miss something.
Alright, when do you want me to help? Like P2, P3, like what do you got?
When we come back over here from the platform.
If they're asking him to help with call up, then like they
Alright, I got you.
caught out a
You
little
got
bit.
me too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so healers, be wary. Check your groups again. One more time. Odds are going left, evens are going right. We're gonna stay stacked on triangle. When you get your puddles to bring back, one's gonna come back to the fucking star. The other one's gonna go to X and square over there. If for some reason the two of you go to same square, same X, just improvise and move away from each other a little bit. If you one motherfucker that's going to star, make sure you get your shit lined up right for us, please. Then as soon as you drop it, get back as fast as you possibly can, because you're gonna fuck up the breath
sir.
if you don't.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
take your time diddly assing around.
Yes, sir.
Alright guys. I hope we make it the first go around. If we don't, Don't get frustrated. We may be here for a minute. We may not. Just be patient.
Chad, I'm only gonna help him if I
Let
feel
that
like
tank
he's
get
not
up
calling
there
certain
so that boss doesn't move. Okay, everybody stack on fucking triangle. Watch out for swirlies. Circles. One behind, the other two go left and right.
Got him.
Move back
Let's
in.
go, let's go.
Get
Move
ready
back-
for
back in, okay.
knockback.
Back in for knockback.
I'll tell you when. And dip your feet in the sand.
In the sand? I mean, fuck it. Let's go in the sand.
Okay, everybody stack back up on triangle. Get them out of the group. One go behind us, the other two go somewhere. Get the fuck out.
Go somewhere else.
All right, you're good. Spread out. Get ready to interrupt your shit.
There's one in the back going off.
Yeah, somehow Fox ended up with two.
Yeah, heroic you get two.
Oh, okay.
You
I
kick or
waited too
dispel
long.
one, and you get a second one.
Dumbass. Duh.
All right, so on heroic, every single time sparks come out, you need to think of 2 things you can do to CC your own spark. Don't worry about anybody else's. It's gonna look really complicated. There's like 20 of them. But just make sure you know how to CC 2 of yours. You don't have to DPS it or heal it or anything.
Damn.
You just CC it and it
You
goes
straight
away.
blowing.
So like stuns, interrupts,
100.
knockbacks,
Damn.
anything like that. We'll be able to get rid of it. Priests
They
and
were
shamans.
on.
Priests and shamans, you're exactly right. You can spam purge and spell steal the whole time until they're gone. We'll never wipe to damage, but we might wipe to sparks. So just think about that. Chat, I'm fucking feeling. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure I just slurred like half of my
Everybody
words.
eat up.
Let's get it. Let's mix some water in here. Maybe a pizza.
Life and seven. No, I don't want to cost life. No.
Yeah, spam some Joels in
Deal
the
splash
chat if I'm
damage
feeling
on
it.
each target. Oh, that's cool. Melee splash support. Or add.
There we go.
Let's do splash
Everybody
damage.
hurry up and get up the triangle.
Like that one.
Scoot. There you go.
Fucking
Get back
scoot. What does he mean?
in. And get back on triangle. Get ready for knockback. I'll tell you when to dip your toes. And dip.
Dip. Oh shit. Oh my god.
Stay out.
I didn't. Okay. All good. All good.
Some of y'all
Do
spread
not
out. Y'all
worry.
need to
Do
stack.
not worry. Do not
No, I
worry.
need-
Get
We
those
are good.
out where they need to
more
go.
red.
All good. Everything is fine. Yes, I am aware. I need everyone to spread out just like before. You need everything. Stuns. Any stun you got, any kick you got, any knockback, any silence, anything. You use that.
Spread out.
Use that on this spark.
There you go. Get them.
Go ahead and watch the
Man.
Tempest swing. We're okay.
Like
So we
this
got fulminating
chest
charges.
plate's
Get these to the
garbage,
edge.
but it
Tigers
actually
less than
has
freedom.
slots that I need.
Get them out. Get them out. Don't be out of the blue. Be out of the blue. Perfect job. One more Tempest swing. Everyone run against the boss in 5 seconds.
Down
okay?
again.
Bring the
Wait.
tank up.
We can get the tank up in
There
a
we
minute.
go.
We don't need it
I
right
didn't have
now.
gloves on.
Okay, we got a storm surge in 3
Yeah.
seconds. So again,
Do that to
X and
him.
square here. The boss health is perfect.
There we go.
Fine. Come on.
Yes?
Damn, that was actually a really
Uh-huh.
valiant attempt. We had a
Awesome
lot
stuff.
of people dead. That was good though. Are you cool with that, Fox?
I'm perfect. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good.
that seemed really good. It just seemed like we needed another pull at it.
Yeah. Good job on what you're doing, man.
Do you want me to keep doing P2?
Dude, do the whole thing.
Yeah,
You're-
you did good.
You're good.
No, I don't want
I
to do
think they
P1
know
for
at
you.
this
You were
point,
doing
they
good with
know.
P1.
All right, I'll do P1.
Yeah.
You do the P2.
Okay, cool. Yo, is anyone else drunk, by the way?
They have
I'm
to know at
feeling
this
it.
point.
It's rough.
Pretty lit.
Reward.
Yeah, I'm pretty lit too.
Give me a
but
bunch of red.
That's fine.
Not got any more
I feel like
red,
it helps
though.
us in a way.
I can't see straight.
Big agree.
I can see straight. I'm not that bad.
All right, here we go. Wherever
Yeah,
the
did
fuck
you see
want.
me just like
Get in the
spill
way.
drink on myself?
And back on triangle.
Dude, we need. I was about to say we
Watch
need a
out for
banger
breath.
healer, but we have 3 healers in here doing 100k HPS, and people are still dead.
The other tank is down.
Yeah,
Now
I
for
think we
the
should.
other side. Melee
Yeah, I
straight
think we should
range.
die here.
Yeah, jump off.
I think we'll be fine later. We just lost a few too many people early. Dude,
Guys,
right before that pull, I took a
one
sip
them
of
needs to
water,
go on star. That's what star's
and it
there
went
for.
all over me, bro.
Where's... Oh.
That's a good week or if you guys
What the
want it,
fuck, man?
actually.
I tried to take a sip of
Maybe
water
for
before the
us.
pull.
Neo, you there?
Dude, I'm fucking lit, chat. 1 second.
Neo? Okay.
Guys, it's not. Listen, chat. It's not fucking floor
Yeah,
pizza.
it's-
I don't have any room on my desk, so
I literally don't have any more red slots.
pizza.
Hmm.
But it's not on the floor. Like the pizza box is on the floor, but I don't have any room.
Hill
on my
Dweller,
desk.
the deep
You know.
kill, something else.
All right, on tanks.
Let's go, guys. Be extra careful in P1
Orange
here.
passage.
135 left, 246 right. Go to your group right now. Both tanks are up. We're good. Dude, chat, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't even kind of know what's going on, man. Chat, I forgot there's a breath coming. I'll be real with you real quick. I'll keep it a buck. What is this fucking horn? What is this horn? Oh, searching horn isn't gonna do anything.
So we're almost there.
We're really close. We're actually really close. We're having a few too many deaths in the first phase and the first intermission. I was one of them that died in the first intermission. So we just have to really watch out for that lightning breath. Like five or six lightning breath pulls. A couple people dead in the first intermission.
That was good though.
Some floor pizza would wake you up, Max. All good. Let's we should be going to our sides now. 135 left, 246 right. So 135 on X, 235 on blue. Or 246 on blue, 135 on okay, and red side, you're gonna get your breath in 3 seconds. Make sure we watch these ads here.
You're behind over here. Where are you? Oh, are you just you're a necromancer.
Why are there fucking air horns playing, man? Okay, we're here. Kill these storm fiends now.
Bitch.
We need a stun on these ads here. Stun on these ads. Okay, we had like 10 people dead. We needed like 2 people dead. Paradin, do you have the confidence to run Devotion Aura instead of Red Aura?
Paradin's leaving is what it is.
Oh, Paradin's leaving? Oh, I might be able to find a replacement. Can you actually list the group finder?
Yeah, as soon as he leaves.
Yo, chat.
It says we're at max
I need
right
the
now.
biggest paladin to ever sign up that's ever existed. I need the fattest fucking cock you've ever seen.
Alright, it's listed.
I mean, I'm talking
Somebody
gargantuan.
just suggested. Is that who it is?
I'm
Saxman?
talking like that shit is probably
druid healer, he's a
insured.
pumper.
Alright, Fox. I know I've been kind of leading a lot. I need you in P1, man. You are the lifeblood of this group. You're the heart.
Oh, good. And in the toes, or sand in the toes.
Not even. Go.
All right, go.
Oh, tight move.
Go to your sides. Watch out for swirlies on the ground.
Okay, did that make that? Ow.
Kill.
Bitches.
I gotta level up.
All right, clear comms. Let's get those positive and negative marks out.
Res some X now. So we got 30 people up. This is gonna be the hardest time it ever is to spread. I got an X marker, I got a blue marker. You spread around these 2 markers. If you get a red debuff, you go to red. If you get a blue debuff, you go to blue in 8 seconds. Okay, go to your spots based on what you have. Let's go. Now help CC when you're done, okay? And then we're getting a Tempest Wing. It's gonna push you away in 3, 2, 1. Everyone run onto the boss. Now, go. Now spread out for Storm Surge around X and square again. We got everyone up. This is perfect. Chat, stop saying
Let's
hi
keep going
YouTube,
this
you
one.
rats. Alright, here we go. Second one. Go to X or red, or X or blue based on whatever color debuff you get. Let's go. Watch Lear in group 2. We're good. Pachandi, group 6. Good job.
Fast as fuck, boy.
That's the killer.
Yeah, we're
Still
good.
fast as fuck, boy.
You're great.
Yes, sir.
We are not great.
We
What the
had
fuck?
we had a square person in the red group, and they
Run.
killed everyone. We should just wipe and go again.
Sit up in your chairs, arch your back. This is it.
Yes, sir.
2 is livable if there's a fuck up. 3 is not.
Run.
Dude, I'm fucking staying until they kill it, man. I love this raid leader so much. I'll make sure he gets this kill. Has he discovered who you are yet? He has no idea who I am.
I think they know.
And that's
I think
why
they
this
know
is
this
so
point.
great. He has literally no idea.
Right when they
Is he
started saying
here?
like, hey, like help with callouts.
Yeah. What's up?
Okay. I didn't see your ready check. I just want to make sure you were here.
No, I probably missed it. You're good.
All right, on tanks.
Get together, X into the boss here.
Uh-oh.
Shit.
No.
We had a person in the wrong group killed one again.
Oh
There's a
man.
rare right here.
Is that Pachandi again?
Yeah, it was the same guy as the last. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have to leave. It's alright, go get it.
Still in Discord.
You left the room.
Yeah, you can come back, man.
The
It's
next
just
man.
you just gotta pay attention to your debuff color.
Come on.
That's all. okay, man. Yeah, if you want to go, it's alright.
I was about to kick him anyway. I'm not gonna keep having somebody wipe us. 'Cause it's just the same thing. Shit, we were all doing good.
Damn.
Alright, let's just reform, restart. We know what the hell we're doing now, guys. We got the problem out of here. Let's get this guy down.
We may as well queue up and just grab another.
He was still in here for all
20
of that!
huge
Oh
DPS.
my god!
Damn.
Brutal.
Whoa!
Boy!
Damn, we got 7 healers.
Let's fucking go!
What am I doing?
Dude,
Still Warlock
I'm
portal up.
like, sorry, bro, it's all good. You can come back in, and then he goes, nah, I was about to kick that idiot. He's
Appreciate
a fucking moron. He kept wiping us. I was gonna
shit.
replace him. That guy single-handedly wiped us twice.
Uh-oh.
So that's a
Uh-oh.
brutal way to go. He heard all that. He was in the Discord for all of it. He was in that guy that he was talking about was in the Discord after he left the group the whole time. He just said all that shit to his fucking face. That was fucking crazy.
Go for swirlies.
All right, he's calling the swirlies. This is the kill chat. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. Watch the
Go
frontal,
left.
guys. Watch the frontal. Watch the breath. Watch the breath. Yeah, don't res. Definitely don't res. Oh, took the soul stone.
Get ready for pushback and get in the sand now. And out.
Just dies to a breath and takes the soul stone. That's fucking brutal.
Ready
Pushback
for
3 soon.
kickback?
We're pushing right after this pushback. It's actually gonna barely even happen.
And now.
It's not even happening. Oh, the tank.
Not even happening.
We don't have a tank, so we're.
The present act.
We keep having a healer die to the first
Oh, does that mean I did?
Can we
Act
like
one?
give every
Act one,
external to
All the trials of
Treshalon and
ascendancy.
Brute 4 like Iron Bark, Time Dilation,
Explore the prison
Guardian
and kill
Spirit,
Brutus.
literally
Okay,
everything on the
so
first
I
breath.
think we still need to find
and then,
Brutus.
And then
Right?
that way we can save the res for tanks.
What
so
does
we
this
get to the
portal
first
do?
mission.
Where take me? Down
Gotta
here?
stay confident. We got this shit. Breath in P1 is banned. There's only one possible thing you can die to in P1.
Okay.
That is getting hit by
Maybe
the
we
breath.
go this way and go down.
We're doing very good right now, guys. Sit up in your chairs. We're doing good.
Check your debuff color. If you get a red debuff, you go under the boss. If you get a blue debuff, you go to the blue marker. Check it now. Let's go. Go there. Go, go, go. A lot of people running over each other.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we can make it work. I'm just gonna double
There we
check
go.
their DPS. I would leave both middle.
Stupid epic game that we're
Save
taking.
it just in case for us in the last phase if we need it. Tempest swing in a few
Totem
seconds. Creating
thingy
taking
down.
gateway. Okay, run under. Good. Fulminating charges. Get out.
There we go.
Res really group 2. Good. Tempest swing. Run under, guys. Run under. Watch the Tempest swing
Amulet.
targets. The
I don't think I had
fulminating
amulet at all.
targets. Alright, good. Now one more storm surge. Pull the boss in the middle tanks. It got really off center. Pull the boss in the middle again, please. Good. Now watch the square and red target. Alright, listen. We are gonna kill this boss if you all listen here. I need blue side to hit
30
the ad on the blue
dexterity,
marker. I need red
gain
side
increased
to hit
evasion
the ad on
rating,
the red
2 maximum
marker
energy
at
shield,
when this
15
phase is
maximum
over.
mana, 40%
Alright, look at the red
increased
marker,
mana
look at the blue
regeneration
marker.
rate,
You hit that ad
1%
at
fire resistance,
135,
and 6 life per
hit
enemy killed.
red, or 135 hit blue, 246 hit red. Very good. Hit these ads. Good. Now, one thing's gonna happen here. There's a breath happening. Move for the breath. Go to triangle and diamond. Go, 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 go.
Delete it.
Okay, now get on these ads and AoE them. Great job. Finish the other one now.
Totem gem got
Great
a,
job. Okay,
level.
everyone stand on these markers. And then I'll call everything you need to do in the last phase. Tanks, I'm going to mark you with a skull and an X. It's very important whenever you have a beam on you, you do not stand on anyone else.
Oh shit. Fox didn't make it.
It's fine. Res Foxen. Res Foxen out. All good, bud. Look at the skull, the X marker. Get off the X and skull. You never stand on tanks, ever. Get off of them. Learn that now. The person who gets this debuff, I want you to go to X, okay? X, put it on the ground. Go to X if you get this. Look at the X marker. Go there now. Go there. Stand exactly on X. Do not move for this breath. It doesn't matter. We're getting pulled through it. Perfect. Okay, we're getting these charges. These charges run behind us. Everyone else run under the boss and get away. Okay, get these charges away from the boss. Run to the edge of the room. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. Everyone else move away from them. Watch those two people. Get off the tank now. Tank is on Skull. You do not stand on him. You do not stand on him. Get off of Skull. Swole man move. Swole man move. Swole man move. Good job. Okay, and then we're getting a Tempest Swing. Everyone run under the boss now. Run under the boss now.
Killed a few rares,
and
but we're
keep
still looking
running
for that
against
one.
it. It's happening in
Named
3,
Brutus.
2, 1. Run against it now. Go.
Upper
Good. Now there's
prison.
going to be a breath on the raid in 3 seconds. I need everyone to watch this breath. 3, 2, 1. Now get off both the X and Skull marker. X and Skull marker are banned. Do not touch them. Get away from them. Get away from them. Look at the head markers. Get off. Get off. Get off. Good. I believe this boss is dead, boys.
Yeah. Congrats, everybody.
Oh my
We
god,
got
we
it.
did it!
Gee, guys.
Fuck
Congrats,
yeah!
Fuck yeah, good job, guys.
I knew we could do it.
Let's go.
Thanks, Glizzy. Thanks, Fox.
Awesome call out.
Hell yeah.
Oh, no bow.
Any bows?
No.
Not a single bow.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks for
That's
coming,
great.
guys. Let me turn off my music so I don't feel like I'm yelling. So for any of you that are new, I will add you guys in my Discord onto friends, so you get all of my pings. You're able to sign up for my raids. I do cross faction, so all alliance, all support are welcome. I do a drunk raid. On the weekend.
Like
so
a
what I'm gonna
regular
do is try to
turn?
take a poll, see what works
That's
for
dope.
everybody, so you can be included in that for
Can we take a
Jay's
photo?
run.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do that. We are doing
What is
Mythic
up with
now.
the photos
So I'm
today?
gonna make a poll for Mythic
Don't heat on the
calendar. Let's
photos.
do it in front of this vault, this
Photos are cool.
chest here.
All right, taking a picture in 3, 2, 1.
It was
Dude,
fun.
Fox, you hard carried that shit, man. That was super fun.
Thanks for the run, Fox.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the invite,
Thanks
Fox.
for sticking it out with us, everyone. That was fun.
Yes, thanks for sticking it out. The ones who did. Sure.
Chat, how did I die on that pole? It says I got melee. What?
Great bots.
Bro, I think I taunted the boss. There's no way I pulled through
I
it.
think
None of
this
the,
thing may have
none of the
max
tanks died.
100 members.
I did. I taunted the boss. That's how I died. What the fuck?
Alright, you guys have a good night. I'm out.
Later, Fox.
See you, bro. It's gonna be a banger video. We did our due diligence out in these streets. Appreciate it, Max. ODL bubs in your stream. FYI, that's how Fox always is. Well, that's awesome. If you guys raid with that Fox guy, you should always play with him. That guy is a vibe and a half, man.
That was cool. Find this Brutus guy.
When workers went to buy goods, they often could not do so, as shortages came to
Oh, is that why the Soviet Union fell? Yeah, something like that queued up.
define the Soviet system. While variety and quality of goods remained subpar, the fundamental reforms that would have improved the productivity of the economy never came to fruition, as it would have necessitated a diminishment of government power and thus would have risked toppling the entire regime. Instead, the government embarked on a gargantuan plan to develop the Soviet Union's vast and inhospitable Siberian and Arctic regions. Tens of millions of people would be forced to build new infrastructure, erect new towns and cities from nothing, and eventually to man the many new mines and, most critically, the sprawling new gas and oil fields. Despite the heavy cost of doing so, this proved to be highly profitable, and it could not have come at a more opportune time. As war broke out in the Middle East, leading the major oil-producing nations to embargo the Western world, the first oil crisis saw the global price of energy skyrocket by sixfold over just 7 years. The Soviet Union, now selling its vast supply of oil to its capitalist rivals, quickly became flooded in money and spurred on further expansion of its oil production capabilities. By the 1980s, it was now the largest producer of oil in the world, and every year, hundreds of billions of dollars started pouring in. This revenue enabled the Soviet Union to do 4 very important things. The first was it allowed for large imports of food and consumer goods to satisfy a population becoming ever more envious of their Western European counterparts. The second was that it was able to continue financing its enormous military. Thirdly, it used its own oil production to massively subsidize its inefficient industries by artificially dropping the cost of energy at 95% less than the global average. Yet most importantly, the Soviet leaders used its oil revenues to import advanced Western machinery and equipment, in the hopes that this would boost the productivity base of its factories, which in turn would revive economic growth. In essence, the Soviet Union was using oil exports to patch up the fundamental flaws with its economy, but in the process, it became overly reliant upon a single resource. Yet even as this proved successful for a period of time, underlying productivity continued to erode, while its military burden grew larger as it struggled to keep up with the West and embarked on a costly invasion of Afghanistan. Meanwhile, its import bill continued to climb as the economy grew more complex and its citizens demanded better consumer goods. As a result, the economy entered a prolonged period that was referred to by its citizens as a Great Stagnation. All of these mounting pressures came to the forefront in 1986, when oil prices plummeted by nearly 70% due to Saudi Arabia dramatically increasing their own oil production. Soviet oil revenues, which it had been using to prop up the rest of the economy, plummeted by almost 75%. This all but forced new leader Mikhail Gorbachev to implement major new reforms. Yet these reforms proved too much for the system, as they led to a dramatic unraveling of the highly centralized state apparatus and the planned economy, eventually culminating in the collapse of the Soviet Union. Along with 14 other states, the Russian Federation was born from its ashes on Christmas Day 1991, with Boris Yeltsin as its leader. In the aftermath, reformers aspired to transform Russia into a typical Western nation, characterized by democratic values, a capitalist economy, and eventually elevated standards of living. However, achieving this feat was akin to mending a ship while it's already sailing in the middle of the ocean. Despite the horrific atrocities that occurred under the Soviet Union, the magnitude of suffering Russians would endure from its collapse cannot be overstated. Never mind it being the largest geopolitical and economic shift in human history, but all of a sudden, the highly controlled and intricate system that governed nearly every aspect of its citizens' lives disintegrated almost overnight. The Russian people were left in a state of uncertainty about what would come next, if they still had jobs, and if they would be able to buy food tomorrow. At the same time, its new leaders had to contend with building new institutions from scratch while grappling with impossible debt obligations, a catastrophic recession, hyperinflation, and the near total collapse of tax revenue. Not only did the state have almost no financial resources to work with, but it also had to contend with a huge number of separate political factions fighting for control over economic assets and political power. Many former Soviet insiders started spontaneously and illegally seizing factories for themselves, while other industries which employed millions fell idle due to the Soviets' complex supply chains and management structure simply ceasing to function. Amidst this backdrop, the reformers had three key goals: to institute a democratic political system that would replace the authoritarian one-party rule, build a new state identity from the ashes of the Soviet Union, and establish a capitalist economic system to replace the planned economy. In an effort to achieve all of this in a sort of shock therapy, they implemented savage cuts to government spending, from reducing the size and wages of military and police to cutting almost all subsidies to industries. This was hoped to not only balance the government's spending bill, but to also force the hugely inefficient Soviet industries to reorganize and reform to be profitable and more productive. To liberalize the economy, the government tore down barriers to international trade, legalized private businesses to be set up and trade freely, and dismantled price controls on some 90% of consumer goods. In theory, all of these rapid reforms would inflict necessary but temporary pain, ultimately leading to a better functioning economy. At the same time, the rapid decentralization of economic activity would reduce former Soviet elites' power, as they wanted nothing more than to retain the privileges they once enjoyed. In practice, the burden on the citizens was catastrophic. In the first month of price controls being lifted, inflation rose 225% and ultimately 2,000% from 1991 to 1995. Market stalls sprang up everywhere, stocked with never-before-seen Western goods, yet most couldn't afford them as decades of savings were wiped out instantly by inflation. The significant defunding of the police and military security apparatus gave rise to a giant wave of crime and violence, in which Russia would go on to have a similar homicide rate to cartel-ridden Mexico and Colombia. Giant industries no longer receiving subsidies started mass layoffs and/or failed to pay workers. Unemployment, once nearly 0%, albeit because of inefficient government mandates, rose to over 15%, which does not even capture those not being paid or forced to work part-time. In sum total, the entire economy contracted by 50%, which is double the decline experienced by the United States during the Great Depression. Millions of Russians fled the nation, while those that stayed stopped having as many children. Alcoholism rates, already high to begin with, became endemic as life expectancy for men dropped to just 57 years, lower than it was in the 1950s under Joseph Stalin. But what truly scarred Russia's long-term economic outlook was the complete botched privatization of state-owned assets, as the problem of who should get what, coupled with a weak government, proved to just be too big of a problem to solve. After 74 years in which the state largely owned every single factory, every single business, and every single store, who exactly do you give ownership to? Initially, reformers came up with a plan to allow management and workers to buy shares in their place of work. At the same time, privatization vouchers were given to all citizens that could be used to get partial ownership in companies and/or be freely traded. Reformers branded this as the people's capitalism. Unfortunately, what really happened was far from it. Amid the economic and political chaos in a now weakened state, enterprise managers either just took the factories for themselves or forced their employees to give up their shares, while other large industries were given to powerful elites in return for political support or bribes. In the most high-profile case, amid Yeltsin being convinced that he would lose the upcoming election to the still influential Communist Party, he allowed the most powerful businessmen in the country to stake claim to Russia's largest and most profitable industries in return for support against the communists. Instantly, these businessmen became the richest and most influential people in all of Russia, if not the world. And with electoral fraud, Yeltsin barely retained the presidency in 1996. For the Russian people, this was hard to stomach. After decades of supposedly working for the common good in the most resource-rich nation on Earth, the vast majority of citizens had nothing to show for it, while a handful of men now controlled a vast portion of the riches. However, underlying reforms did start to show improvements to the system. A new flourishing class of entrepreneurs emerged. Inflation started to recede as production of pricey goods rose, chronic shortages came to an end, and many inefficient industries reorganized to become more efficient. However, this process was severely curtailed as the government started to roll back on certain reforms under mounting political and social pressure. In an effort to keep unemployment from rising any higher, credit and subsidies were rolled out to struggling industries. Not only did this embolden many industries to continue operating inefficiently as they did under the Soviet Union, but when combined with many enterprises proving adept at evading taxes, the government found itself unable to balance revenues and expenditures. To make up for the growing deficit, the government started issuing huge amounts of high-interest short-term bonds. Along with a costly and unpopular war to put down Chechen independence fighters, the government's debts started to grow rapidly. Then, in 1997, the Asian financial crisis quickly spread to developing countries and in the process plummeted oil prices. As a result, the government defaulted on its domestic debts, and private industries defaulted on their foreign debts. GDP and the ruble collapsed, and as confidence was lost in Russia's banking system, huge amounts of cash fled the country. By the end of the decade, despite Russians having lived through the atrocities of the Soviet Union, the 1990s proved for many to be the bleakest period of their lives. Russia was now dominated by big businesses that didn't pay taxes and abused legal and illegal methods to stomp down on small and emerging new companies. Corruption ran rampant among the now weakened government, while organized crime terrorized the Russian people. This, along with weak property rights and a poor business environment, kept investment at critically low levels as profits from businesses fled the country to buy luxury yachts and property in Europe or were hidden away in offshore bank accounts. As the new millennium and elections approached, the possibility of the communists returning to power loomed large, dimming hopes of economic reforms that would fix the country's economic woes. That quickly changed when a little-known ex-KGB agent named Vladimir Putin came along. Putin was appointed prime minister on the same day the Second Chechen War broke out. Amid a more successful military campaign against them and a surprising return to economic growth, Putin quickly became the most popular politician in Russia. As such, in a dramatic scene, Yeltsin resigned from the presidency on December 31st, 1999, placing Putin as acting president and paving the way for a landslide victory in the election just 3 months later. Documented in his Millennium Manifesto, Putin decried the fact that Russia had become the poorest nation in Europe, in which a decade of strong growth would be needed to place it on par with Portugal and Spain, hardly rich nations among Europe as is. He proposed a comprehensive agenda that included an aggressive campaign against crime, a more assertive central government to tackle Russia's disorderly regions and big businesses, and a drive for more investment and global integration. He, like many Russian leaders before him, also pointed to the state's still over-reliance on energy exports as a call to diversify the economy. Indeed, the sudden growth that coincided with Putin taking office was the result of a massive spike in oil prices caused by China's monstrous economic growth and insatiable demand for commodities. With political popularity, big business having been crippled from the Asian financial crisis, and a significant rise in oil revenues, Putin utilized his window of opportunity to unleash his plans to rebuild a strong central government, provoking fear among reformists that he would roll back many of the economic freedoms obtained in the previous decade. He started by re-establishing central control by redrawing Russia's regions and placing loyalists in charge, while at the same time, a new bankruptcy law was used to take on Russia's two most powerful businessmen, ultimately stripping them of their assets, including the two most important independent media groups. Putin then held a lavish barbecue outside Moscow with the rest of the powerful business owners, implicitly threatening that if they stayed out of politics and paid their taxes, they would be allowed to keep ownership of their companies. At the same time, the government reasserted ownership of Gazprom, the gas industry behemoth that descended directly from the Soviet Ministry of Gas. Altogether, Putin sent a powerful message about the rebalancing of power between the state and private business. Along with this, a new 13% flat tax was instituted, and with booming oil production and prices, coupled with big businesses now paying taxes, Russia saw its first year of budget surplus. Some of the surplus was used to reform antiquated public utilities, while archaic land laws were modernized. Meanwhile, the expansion of central power and a major offensive against crime restored a sense of stability for the Russian people and investors. Along with this, larger subsidies and support were given to large industries, which slowly decreased unemployment. Yet a key characteristic of Putin's economic strategy was an adherence to prudent monetary and fiscal policy. From the late 1990s to 2007, foreign debts shrank from $131 billion to just $40 billion. That was just 3% of GDP, the healthiest among the top 20 largest economies in the world. Meanwhile, a new stabilization fund, along with the central bank, soaked up excess oil revenues, eventually amassing into an impressive war chest of cash to use in times of crisis. With all of these factors combined, the Russian economy started booming, growing by on average 7.2% a year during Putin's first 7 years in power, although a majority of that growth funneled to just a tiny minority of business owners. And while most big business owners played by Putin's rules, there was one exception: Mikhail Khodorkovsky, who had acquired Yukos, a large oil company, when Yeltsin sold it off for political support. He then turned Yukos from an inefficient company into a wildly profitable enterprise, in the process becoming the richest man in Russia. He did not heed Putin's threats and continued to talk openly of his political aspirations, paid off parliament members to favor laws that benefited Yukos, exposed corruption among Putin's government, and was actively in talks to sell off Russia's largest oil fields to the American-based ExxonMobil. In a stunning move, Putin ordered authorities to arrest Khodorkovsky for tax fraud, in which he was found guilty, stripped of his businesses, and sent to prison for 10 years. Yukos was then merged with the state-owned Rosneft, which quickly became Russia's largest oil company. This high-profile case, which attracted international attention, masked a much larger effort by the government to retake controls of sectors it deemed as strategically important, including military and nuclear power manufacturing and vast portions of the profitable natural resource extraction sector. Meanwhile, thousands of small to medium-sized enterprises began to be ransacked by the government itself or by corrupt state officials for personal gain. Soon, either by representation on company boards, direct ownership, or by implicit threat, the government came to dominate a huge number of industries, eventually becoming the single most important entity in the economy, representing 70% of economic activity by 2015. Putin's carefully crafted political economic system started to look much more like Soviet central control than a modern market-based democratic system, and can be simplified into 3 sectors. Sector A includes industries that are internationally competitive and bring in a vast majority of money, equaling some 85% of export revenues. This sector is entirely dominated by the government and includes oil, gas, mining, and large agricultural companies, as well as military and nuclear manufacturing. Sector B is represented by non-competitive industries that rely on government subsidies, credit, and/or laws to prevent competition. They are geared towards selling to the domestic population and include the car industry, shipbuilding, and social groups reliant on the government for income, namely civil servants and pensioners. This sector, which supports a vast majority of Russians, is therefore directly reliant on the government redistributing revenues from Sector A. This means the survivability of these companies are not reliant upon innovating nor improving efficiency, but improving their importance to the government, whether that be providing consumer goods or employing lots of people. In essence, the government uses revenues, mainly from oil and gas, to keep people working, and in doing so, gains political support from the general population and business owners. Sector C operates without government intervention and includes retail, construction, and many small businesses the government does not deem strategically important. This sector does not generate much tax revenue, but also does not need government support to survive. Being left to their own, this is a sector that can spur on productivity gains and innovation. Yet continually weak property rights stifles investment and/or discourages altogether new businesses from emerging. After all, why invest in a new venture or expand your company if it can be seized by corrupt state officials? As a result, this sector remains small and largely insignificant. This entire system was carefully crafted to cement political power for Putin and other elites, while also catering to a wide range of competing interests. Control of Sector A gives the government direct access to the major sources of revenue, while keeping the most powerful businessmen in alignment with the state. An inefficient Sector B that relies upon the government gives millions of people employment and in doing so, generates political support for Putin. Meanwhile, the strong and more centralized state is able to crack down on crime and intervene in times of crisis with its massive war chest of cash. As far as the average citizen is concerned, this system has worked, as quality of life has substantially improved since the bleak 1990s. Life expectancy is now much higher, inflation has stayed modest, while unemployment and crime have stayed relatively low. Even though the economy has grown wildly unequal, life was simply better than it was prior. Yet fundamentally, Putin's economy carries on the legacies of the Soviet Union's flaws. Productivity and innovation remains painfully stagnant, and as such, wages perpetually lag behind workers' European counterparts. Just like the Soviet Union, many industries rely on technical imports and financing from the West, including advanced machinery, oil extraction methods, and complex components like microchips. Meanwhile, the economy itself is almost entirely dependent on the price of oil. When oil prices are high, the economy booms, and profits from Sector A trickle to the rest of the economy. When prices are low, the economy enters severe recessions. While growth slowed after 2008, the economy was still largely stable. This all started to change in 2014, when Russian foreign policy took a sharp turn. As Ukraine's pro-Russian president Viktor Yanukovych was ousted in 2014, heavily armed separatists, along with Russian troops, took control of Crimea, which was soon after illegally annexed by Russia. At the same time, Russia started supplying separatists and carrying out military operations in the Donbas region. As this was a gross violation of international law, Europe and the United States slapped Russia with economic sanctions, ranging from freezing Russian elites' assets, banning the sale of key technical components and weapons, prohibiting Western involvement in new energy projects, and most critically, restricting loans to strategic sectors of the Russian economy. Along with falling oil prices, the Russian economy entered a severe recession. Russian politics quickly became embroiled in trying to find a way to sanction-proof the economy in a so-called Fortress Russia policy. To attempt this, Russian industries started producing banned components or finding other sources from Asia. An alternative to national payments was rolled out, while a huge drive to expand and modernize the military saw expenditure rise from 3.8% to 5.5% of GDP, far outpacing the spending rates seen in Europe and even the US. The government and private companies started to further shed external debts, while the central bank sold off its reserves of US dollars in favor of Chinese and European currencies. At the same time, a greater emphasis was placed on increasing Russia's financial war chest, which was aided by energy prices recovering and the government cutting social spending. By 2021, Russia had over $600 billion worth of reserves to use in case of emergency. All of these efforts to build a fortress Russian economy and Putin's 22 years of cementing political and economic power would be put to the test when, in early 2022, he launched his so-called special military operation in Ukraine. On February 24, 2022, Russian troops and tanks rolled across the Ukrainian border, while missiles fired indiscriminately, raining down on strategic targets in civilian cities alike. It didn't take long for the West to strike back with the harshest and most comprehensive sanctions in almost a century, amounting to a full-on economic war. Targeted measures crippled the trade of badly needed materials and complex components. Meanwhile, Russia's central bank had more than 60% of its reserves frozen by Western institutions. And eventually, Russia was cut off from SWIFT, the international bank messaging system, which in a globalized world was seen as a kill shot straight to the heart of the Russian economy. The general consensus being blasted from experts, economists, and the media foretold of Russia's impending economic collapse. Forecasts ranged from a complete collapse of Russia's financial system to a catastrophic shrinking of 15% of its GDP by year's end. Western sanctions in theory were designed to cripple Russia as follows. The sharp negative external shocks to trade and the financial sector would see a huge outflow of money from Russia immediately, causing the ruble to collapse and inflation to spike. In a panic and to preserve savings, a critical mass of Russians would then try to pull money out of their bank accounts, causing a banking crisis. An ensuing decrease in credit, demand, and access to critical imports would force industries to shut down, leading to further inflation and unemployment. State revenues would dwindle, forcing a contraction of spending, leading to a further decline in economic activity. The result would be a breakdown in Russia's economy, rendering Putin incapable of financing a war while contending with mass social unrest, which in turn would hopefully lead to a retreat from Ukraine. Initially, signs pointed to this being a potential reality. $250 billion worth of capital, which is equal in value to 14% of Russia's GDP, poured out of the country, while the ruble collapsed by over 50%. airline prices more than doubled as hundreds of thousands of wealthy and educated workers fled the nation, while everybody else tried to take money out of their banks and protests erupted. Meanwhile, almost all international corporations pulled out of the country, including McDonald's, whose opening 32 years ago in Moscow symbolized just how much the Soviet Union was changing. Its departure from Russia in 2022 marked a new era of rapid change to the Russian economy. Yet a year on, Russia is still engaging in a fierce and protracted war. While sanctions have historically never been capable of stopping conflict, Russia's economy appeared to have surpassed every single gloomy prediction. By the end of 2022, GDP barely shrank, inflation increased, but by much less than expected, and unemployment reached all-time lows, while the state has become stuffed with cash. All of this is a byproduct of quick action by the Russian state and years of preparation. To stop initial panic in the financial sector, interest rates were massively raised to send a message that they were serious about tackling inflation, which not only curtailed a run on banks, but even encouraged Russians who had taken money out of their banks during the pandemic to deposit it back in. Meanwhile, the state introduced further aid and subsidies to companies and banks to keep investment levels up. As the ruble collapsed, the government banned foreign currency from being exported and forced 80% of any profits made by companies selling overseas to buy back rubles. In combination with a sharp drop in imports, the ruble bounced back to hit 8-year highs. In essence, the government, through various control mechanisms, had artificially raised the value of the ruble by increasing demand and reducing supply. Even as over half of Russia's war chest was frozen by Western institutions, it still had $300 billion left to work with to intervene in the economy. And coupled with Russia's very low foreign debts, banks and companies were not as reliant on Western financing as they had been prior. These proactive measures and preparations were able to blunt the mechanisms behind a financial crisis from occurring, while restoring some semblance of stability and confidence to the Russian people. Yet most critically to all of this, Putin had correctly calculated that despite Russia's over-reliance on energy exports, Europe had become equally reliant upon Russian energy imports. In 2021, Europe imported a titanic 155 billion cubic meters of natural gas, 108 billion tons of crude oil, 91 million tons of petroleum products, and 51.4 million tons of coal from Russia. While nations pledged to reduce their imports from Russia, the logistical and financial strains behind quickly finding alternative sources proved easier said than done. And yet, at the very same time, the geopolitical and economic uncertainty that such a large war caused, in combination with a surge in demand from economies reopening after the pandemic, saw oil and gas prices hit 11-year highs. While the total volume of energy exports from Russia did decline in 2022, Russia saw its largest gush of oil and gas revenues in its history, at $230 billion, or 34% more than the year prior. Total commodity export revenues reached $580 billion, or 40% more than its 10-year average. And when combined with a drop in imports, Russia recorded a trade surplus between January and September of $198 billion, or more than double the previous record in 2008. Gazprom alone paid 5 trillion rubles in taxes, or more than half the total government spending on the war and security thus far. Instead of having to cut back on spending, the government has dramatically increased subsidies to Sector B and ramped up military spending. In effect, Russia has used the proceeds of its oil and gas sales to Europe to continue its brutal campaign in Ukraine. While most European countries have by now shifted large portions of their energy imports away from Russia, trade with non-Western countries has boomed, particularly with India, Turkey, and China, who are more than happy to not only soak up discounted energy imports, but also provide Russia with now banned Western components, technology, and industrial inputs. At the same time, Central Asian countries such as Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, and Georgia have been used as bypasses to sanctions, as European goods are bought by middlemen in the country who then resell to Russia which has kept many factories running as usual. Meanwhile, gigantic so-called shadow fleets of oil tankers are using non-Western ships, logistics, and financing to keep Russian exports flowing. The war has also brought a boom to the military-industrial complex, with some factories running 24 hours a day, while other new industries have emerged to replace previously imported goods and services. So with only a small hit to GDP, record profits, a nearly full war chest of cash, and eager new trading partners and supply lines, does this mean Putin has really constructed an economy impervious to sanctions, one that will be capable of funding the war indefinitely, and one that will continue to prop up Russia as a major power for the foreseeable future? The answer in the long run is almost certainly no. While headline statistics for 2022 point toward Russia's economic resilience, all they do is mask a truly bleak future outlook for Russia. To start, we must take into account that going into 2022, without the war, the Russian economy was set to grow by 4%, meaning that 2.1% contraction has set Russia's economy back 6% from where it could have been. While undoubtedly the war itself, continued sanctions, and a gradual normalization of oil prices will zap growth going forward. Indeed, it is likely that Russia's GDP won't return to its 2021 level for 5 years, while its 2022 potential GDP won't be reached until 2032. And while certain sectors of the economy have managed to stay afloat, other more vulnerable industries, such as car manufacturing, have seen their production plummet by 80%. Not only does this highlight certain sectors' continued reliance on Western parts and microchips, but it also shows a real erosion of citizens' buying power. Other industries, such as military manufacturing, which soared and provided employment, does not actually improve the economy or its people. After all, artillery shells and tank production contribute to GDP, yet can't be consumed by the Russian people, nor does it improve the economy's productive capabilities. And while domestic substitutions and imports replace Western equipment and machines, they're of poor quality and/or price, which will inevitably mean a reduction in productivity. Yet what must worry Putin the most in the short term is the fact that a year on, most European nations have been able to move away from their Russian energy dependence, enabling the first round of significant measures to undermine Russia's ability to finance the war. In December 2022, Western nations implemented a $60 price cap on Russian crude oil. This not only limits the amount of money Russia can make from its energy sales to the West, but it also bans Western companies from financing, shipping, and insuring seaborne oil exports above $60 a barrel. This is incredibly crucial as Western institutions dominate global oil logistics and financing, meaning even if oil is being exported to non-Western nations, if they are to use Western companies to help, they must cooperate with the price cap. Meanwhile, outside of the West, there are very few companies capable of putting up the needed capital and/or stomaching the insurance risks associated with long voyage oil transport. Even if Russia uses shadow fleets and manages to get non-Western companies to facilitate exports, the price cap gives other oil importing nations a greater hand at negotiating prices. Indeed, China, India, and Turkey have been buying Russian oil at steep discounts. By January 2023, Russian oil was selling at $38 a barrel, or half the international price from other nations. Meanwhile, oil sales to non-European nations are also more expensive because of longer voyages, meaning less profit. At the same time, due to Europe now having found alternative sources, a complete banning of oil and refined products went into effect in February 2023. Even though this ban does not encompass natural gas exports, Putin during the winter started throttling gas supplies in a bid to blackmail countries supplying aid to Ukraine, and when combined with the clandestine bombing of the Nord Stream pipeline, gas exports now stand at just 20% their 2021 level. This has not only accelerated a shift away from Russian gas, but due to cutbacks on the use of gas and a warm winter, Europe's reserves stand at more than 80% capacity, meaning they will have enough supplies to avoid fuel shortages until at least 2025, enabling them to fully wean off Russian gas in time. Meanwhile, the building of new pipelines and other infrastructure to sell to Asia will take 5+ years, be expensive, and be inhibited from lack of access to Western technologies. Not to mention, India and China have comparably small demands for refined petroleum products. Therefore, today and going forward, even if oil and gas prices rise, Russia's ability to profit from exports has been greatly diminished, which, as we know, will have a catastrophic rippling effect for the rest of the economy and limit the amount of resources that can be diverted toward the military and Sector B. This has already started to occur. Gas exports are now at their lowest level since the collapse of the Soviet Union. Russian oil is selling at almost a third their peak prices in May 2022. Meanwhile, military spending has had to rise significantly in the face of a stalling war effort, while non-oil sector government revenues have fallen by 20%. Indeed, immediately after the price cap went into effect, in a single month in January, Russia experienced a budget deficit of $23.6 billion. In reaction, the government has had to start aggressively taking out expensive domestic debts and dipping into its reserves of cash. While it's not a good practice to extrapolate data out this far, Russia is currently on track to exhaust its entire reserves of cash in just 1 to 4 years. While Putin still has the revenue and resources to continue the war in the short term, it is starting to become much more costly. Meanwhile, massive cuts to social spending, a continued erosion of citizens' buying power, and a war that is becoming more domestically unpopular every day means political and social instability will start to rapidly accelerate. While the war for Putin thus far has been rather unsuccessful, he has greatly succeeded at accelerating long-standing forces against the Russian economy. Even if miraculously the war stops overnight and sanctions are lifted, the 50-year-long trade cycle of selling oil to Europe in return for technology to boost productivity is likely to be either completely severed or at least greatly reduced. Meanwhile, as the world inevitably switches away from fossil fuels, Russia's major revenue stream will slowly become less profitable. Yet the fundamental structure of the economy Putin created is not geared toward the innovation required to diversify away from energy exports. But most dangerous to Russia's long-term economic outlook is the war's contribution to degrading Russia's long-standing demographic issues. Ever since the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia's population has steadily declined due to falling fertility rates, an increase in death, and citizens emigrating away. This was already going to be an issue as the number of retirees and those needing government support would start to outnumber the working population. But with the combination of potentially hundreds of thousands of men being wounded or killed on the battlefield and hundreds of thousands of specifically working age and educated people leaving the country, coupled with the inevitable decrease of fertility due to economic hardship, this has dramatically accelerated Russia's demographic decline. Indeed, the number of births in April 2022 was the lowest level seen in Russia since Hitler's army was at the doorstep to Moscow. At its current rate, Russia's population could shrink by over 16% in the next 50 years. Meanwhile, the most educated and skilled workers, who since 2014 have been increasingly leaving the country, are now doing so in massive hordes. In fact, it is speculated that since the war began, over 100,000 IT specialists have fled the nation in a so-called brain drain. Businesses are already having to cope with labor shortages. Putin has therefore rendered Russia's future population to be smaller, less educated, more financially strained, and ultimately poorer and less powerful. Ever since the Soviet Union started to exploit its vast oil and gas reserves, Russia has been reliant on its revenue to prop up the rest of the economy. Despite reformers' efforts, the sheer magnitude of social and economic misery the collapse of the Soviet Union caused propagated Russia's flawed transition into a normal Western nation. Putin was able to fix many issues and finally lead Russia to growth. Yet at the same time, he perpetuated critical long-running flaws that stifled a diversification of the economy, increases the productivity, and ultimately the Russian people's quality of life. In return, he cemented political power for himself and the elites that surround him. Russia was already facing a bleak economic future as the world inevitably shifts away from fossil fuels and it struggles to cope with a shrinking and older population. While his economy has weathered the first year of his attempt to brutally conquer Ukraine, he has inexorably sped up his nation's fade into obscurity. Putin often espouses that the collapse of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century. He will look back to his war in Ukraine as the worst geopolitical catastrophe of the 21st.
When Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone in 2007, Chinese labor cost about $1, less than Thailand or the Philippines, and a bargain compared to Malaysia. Fast forward 15 years, and wages have increased nearly everywhere. But China is in a league of its own. By the time the iPhone 14 was released last year, the cost of labor had gone from $1 to $8. Today, for the price of 1 hour of Chinese labor, you can buy 4.5 in Mexico. In fact, the only major Latin American economy with a higher cost is Chile. Not only is made in China no longer cheap, globally speaking, you might even say it's expensive. So what's next for the world's factory? Sponsored by Nebula, the platform created, owned, and loved by creators. Sign up for exclusive, early, and bonus content, and to support Polymatter directly. This is what 2 decades of cheap t-shirts, TVs, and toys looks like. This is Walmart and Amazon and the dollar store. On the left are people. You know about the one-child policy, but you may not know what immediately preceded it. Mao was convinced that a large population was the best deterrent against nuclear war. On his final visit to Moscow, the chairman bragged about the ease with which his country could lose 300 million people. So, although children, also known as free farm labor, are desirable in any agricultural society, in China, this incentive was inscribed in law. Points which could be redeemed for food or awarded based on the size of one's family. Surprise, the population exploded. 30 years later, this is what China looked like in the year 2000. Each rectangle represents an age group, for example, 55 to 59-year-olds. Babies are at the bottom and seniors at the top. The longer the rectangle, the larger that group. Let's also add some historical context, the year each age cohort was born over here. These 45-year-olds in the year 2000, for instance, were born in 1955. Now, the difference in size between these rectangles may seem fairly minor. But see this minor difference between 25 to 29-year-olds and 20 to 24-year-olds? That represents 25 million people. As you can see by the large number of 25 to 34-year-olds, Mao's strength in numbers baby boom was quite effective. And what's special about 25 to 34-year-olds? Well, they're what an economist might classify as young, dumb, and broke. They've recently graduated and they're hungry to start working, even for low pay and with poor conditions. In other words, if you were trying to unleash on the world an endless supply of affordable toasters and cheap t-shirts, you could hardly have designed a more perfect demographic structure than early 2000s China. In summary, your cheaply made iPhone 3G was a distant ripple of Mao Zedong's 1960s plan to survive nuclear war. The second ingredient to this generation of cheap, mass-produced consumerism we take for granted was migration. All those baby boomers were born in rural communes way out in China's geographic equivalent of Montana. Reaping the fruits of industrialization required that they pack their bags and travel hundreds of miles east toward the urban coast. Between 1990 and 2010, 10 million new fresh-faced migrants made this journey each and every year. And at this rate, it's awfully hard to imagine ever running out of labor. But beneath these impressively large numbers, China was just going through the same demographic transition as every other country. In the first stage, you have an agricultural society. Without the aid of tractors or harvesters or sprinklers, there's only enough food to survive if everyone spends their time farming.
I literally couldn't.
And on the farm, remember, children are free labor. Just don't expect to live very long without modern medicine. Lots of births, lots of deaths. China during the Cultural Revolution. Next, you start building a few rudimentary machines. Nothing fancy, but enough to allow a single farmer to produce rice for, say, 1.1 people. Then something magical happens. Someone else's time is freed up to focus on something like antibiotics. Mortality goes down, but fertility stays high. China in the 70s and 80s. As time goes on, more and more farmers put down their shovels and move to the city. And in the city, children turn from valuable assets to expensive liabilities. Fertility, therefore, starts to fall. Now, for simplicity, imagine just 3 groups of people: kids, adults, and seniors. Because mortality was until recently high, you don't yet have a lot of 80 and 90-year-olds. Because fertility was previously high, you now have lots of adults. And because fertility is currently very low, you don't have many kids. This is your country's golden opportunity, what's called a demographic dividend. A few short decades where you have lots of working-age adults with few kids or seniors to financially support. If you can put them all to work, you can ride this demographic wave all the way to modernity. And that's exactly what China did. The only difference is that China's demographic dividend happened on an extremely condensed timeline. It ramped up incredibly quickly and is now collapsing all at once. Before Mao died here in 1976, he was actively trying to expand the population as quickly as possible. Naturally, 30 years later, all those baby boomers entered the labor market at the same time. Immediately after Mao died here, the one-child policy made high fertility illegal. So today, the labor market is suddenly shrinking.
But, you know.
For the last few decades, only diaper companies have felt this dearth of children. Economically speaking, kids are pretty useless.
Hell yeah.
But today, those kids are no longer kids, and their absence is an absence of labor. Remember those millions of extra 25 to 34-year-olds in the year 2000? They're now, on average, 53, and rounding the corner to retirement. What was once a demographic dividend has become a deficit. Needless to say, China today is the youngest it will likely ever be in our lifetimes. If you're currently 20 and live to 90, you can plausibly expect to see its total population decrease by about 40%. The rate of urbanization, likewise, can only go as high as 100%. China is reaching what economists call the Lewis turning point. The total number of Chinese workers peaked back in 2015 and has declined every year but one since. So where does this leave companies who rely on this disappearing labor? In one of 3 categories. First, if China is your primary market, you might be inclined to stay. If not, the question is, do you require skilled labor? If the answer is no, your company left China a long time ago. There's no reason to pay 4 times more when you could move to, say, Mexico, especially given its proximity to American consumers. Just 21% of Nike footwear, for example, is still made in China. Finally, by deduction, it's safe to assume that any company that hasn't left cares about more than just cost. It helps that China has 62 million more 20-year-olds than Vietnam has people. You can't beat its scale or flexibility. Apple can hire a small country's worth of temporary workers right before the next iPhone is released. Infrastructure is also important. Roads, ports, bridges, Chinese cities roll out the red carpet. After all, the careers of local bureaucrats depended on their ability to attract businesses. Now, these companies have and will diversify, opening a few factories in Vietnam or India, but they won't leave China until they're dragged kicking and screaming. We know they can't easily escape because they just put up with 3 years of lockdowns, protests, and travel restrictions. Apple used to reserve 50 business class tickets between San Francisco and Shanghai per day. You didn't hear Tim Cook complaining when those flights disappeared for 1,000 days. Likewise, although China's labor force is in decline, its consumer market is still large and relatively untapped. Starbucks, Walmart, and McDonald's will continue expanding, not shrinking in the country for the foreseeable future. That's what happens to companies. But what about China, the country? Previously, the large working age population kept the cost of labor down, leading to increased profit. Confident in its continued growth, companies then use that profit to invest back in the country. But as the population begins to decrease, so too does foreign investment. That puts China in a tough position. Its labor is too expensive to be competitive on the low end, but not skilled enough to occupy the high end. This is called the middle income trap, and the only way out is education. Greater skills equal higher wages, and those higher wages are spent on cars, phones, and vacations. Consumption that neatly replaces lost investment. And man oh man, does China have education. College enrollment tripled between 2000 and 2015. Performance on the Gaokao, the college entrance exam, is less a score than an identity. And the after-school tutoring arms race became so intense that the government was forced to intervene. If China had a state religion, it might be education. The problem is not so much a shortage as an uneven distribution. A tiny minority are extremely well educated, while the vast majority are left behind. The country may churn out bachelor, graduate, and professional degrees, but 70% lack even a high school education. What it really needs is something in the middle. These days, even quote low-skill factory work requires skills those without a high school diploma may be missing. Meanwhile, there are only so many glamorous white-collar tech jobs, the kind China's college graduates were told awaited them. In other words, most of the labor force either lacks the skills required of a mechanic, machine worker, or technician, or is unwilling to do what they see as menial work. The result of this labor mismatch is mass unemployment. Last year, the youth unemployment rate reached nearly 20%. Now, China has been trying to tackle these challenges since at least 2007, when Wen Jiabao announced the shift to a consumption-driven economy. But little progress has been made since. Chinese household consumption